Chapter 2003. You're actually able to hurt me? Feng Fei's face was filled with shock, as if he'd just seen something inconceivable. Is it worth your surprise that I hurt you? It looks like you're just a strong talker. That's all there is to your strength. Ling Xiao smiled. Speaking of which, I'm just an ant in your eyes. It doesn't feel good to be bitten by an ant, does it? Although that was what he said, Ling Xiao was very shocked in his heart. The combination of Bloody Yang sword and Heavenly Yang transformation had only managed to scratch Feng Fei's skin. Others might not know, but he was well aware that the attack hadn't even injured his bones, much less his heart. To Feng Fei, this injury was nothing. In fact, it was Feng Fei's dignity that was hurt more. With Feng Fei's personality, it was hard to accept being injured by an ant he looked down on. It's indeed uncomfortable, but you've truly angered me. Next, I'll use 100% of my strength to deal with you. You should feel honored and fearful at the same time. Feng Fei glared at Ling Xiao. No one had ever made him so angry, but Ling Xiao had done it. You've said such nonsense more than once. I'm tired of hearing it. The first time, you said I had the right to fight you. The second time, you said I had the right to fight you with 70% of your strength, but you used 80% instead. This time you said 100%, but I don't think the results will change. Ling Xiao looked mildly at Feng Fei. No matter how much he valued the man in his heart, he had to at least attack the other party's arrogance with his words. Feng Fei was like Tianhai tyrannical ambition, both of whom valued face above all else. There were too many benefits to angering your opponent. The best was that he'd use his full strength. Although it was dangerous, he'd be able to experience Feng Fei's true strength and gain even more benefits. When it came to increasing his strength, Ling Xiao had always been a madman. Moreover, he was used to being such a madman. Is that so? Very soon, you'll know what 100% of my strength means. Feng Fei looked coldly at Ling Xiao. The terrifying heavenly energy surged once again. The power of a first division life-sizer was fully unleashed. In the skies, the fifth rune of the Gate of Laws also began to shine. He hadn't been able to use this fifth rune in his fight against Tyranny Heavenly Ocean because Tyranny Heavenly Ocean had destroyed the Gate of Laws. This time, Feng Fei had strengthened the Door of Laws to strengthen its defenses. If they met Tyranny Heavenly Seas again, they wouldn't be crushed. At the very least, they wouldn't be crushed so easily. Because Ling Xiao had noticed this, he'd ignored the Door of Laws and attacked Feng Fei instead. Boom! The Gate of Laws opened once more. A terrifying sound reverberated in the air above the arena stage. Everyone could clearly hear it, and all of them were nervous to the extreme. Everyone was surprised that the battle had lasted until now. Then I'll let you see my strength too. I was just teasing you just now. Ling Xiao's lips curled into a mocking smile. Suddenly, a surge of power erupted from his body, filling the entire arena with a terrifying aura. His opponent's aura grew stronger. At the same time, his aura grew stronger by an even greater margin. Heavens, the 18th level of Yin-Yang realm. This guy is too terrifying. Everyone was dumbfounded. No one, not even Ling Xiao's friends, expected this trip to the 10,000 lightning desolate grounds to raise Ling Xiao's cultivation to the 18th level of Yin-Yang realm. Everyone felt as if their hearts had been hammered, their heads spinning. It had only taken him a dozen or so days to go from the 13th level of Yin-Yang realm to the 18th level. Just what had Ling Xiao encountered in the Black Tortoise Shrine? Was this Ling Xiao's true limit? To defeat Feng Fei, he'd used all of his strength? Many people recalled Ling Xiao's appearance when he'd first arrived at the 10,000 lightning desolate grounds. 13th level of Yin-Yang realm with only a small success, sword intent. Back then, Ling Xiao had given everyone the impression that he was an unlucky fellow who defended the Songjing clan as soon as he'd arrived. They'd treated Ling Xiao as a joke, even though Ling Xiao had a powerful expert, like the demon of wine by his side to protect him. But in everyone's eyes, Ling Xiao had been nothing more than a stepping stone in the White Tiger gathering. He'd even be killed in the first round of the Purgatory blood battles. However, this 17-year-old boy gave them a shock that was like a dream. From the first round to the Battle of the Kings, he'd not only defeated all sorts of strong opponents, but even the so-called top geniuses had become his targets to gain experience. Now he was facing one of the top 2 geniuses of the White Tiger continent and had used his peak 17th level of Yin-Yang realm cultivation to injure him with his 3rd level of sword intent. That wasn't all. Just as Feng Fei was preparing to use his full strength to defeat Ling Xiao suddenly exploded with power. He'd unleashed the shocking power of the 18th level of Yin-Yang realm. This was like a dream. It was hard to believe. With Ling Xiao at the center, terrifying Yin-Yang energy roiled and rose. A giant blood-red sun condensed once again to float above his head. Boundless killing intent filled the entire 10,000 lightning desolate grounds, striking fear into the hearts of countless martial artists. I didn't expect him to use more than his full strength to kill Lei Lai. He didn't use his full strength when he defeated Feng Ying either. He shouldn't be holding back against Feng Fei this time. With such terrifying strength, it's possible for him to defeat Feng Fei. The martial artists who'd been waiting to see Ling Xiao make a fool of himself and see Ling Xiao beaten to death felt their hearts turn cold. Water God Hall, White Horse Country, Celestial Devil Sect, Tianhai Empire, and Silver Fox Empire. Even Feng Ying, Qingqiu Lihua, the Heavenly Wolf Gentleman, and Black Tortoise Temple were all staring at Ling Xiao. They couldn't believe that it was Ling Xiao himself standing on the stage. With Ling Xiao's current strength, it was easy for him to destroy powers like Water God Hall and White Horse Country. Even against the 4 great empires, he could definitely put up a fight, especially against the geniuses of the 4 great empires. Who could be his opponent? Feng Fei on stage? Or Tianhai Tyranny off stage? Perhaps only those 2 were worth looking forward to. If those 2 people lose to Ling Xiao, then our White Tiger continent's face will be completely lost. Originally, the martial artists from the Divine Phoenix continent and the Heavenly Dragon continent were only there to serve as a foil. But now, this nameless pawn from the Heavenly Dragon continent has actually become the main character. Countless White Tiger Empire's martial artists had the same thought. How shameful. If any of the White Tiger continent's martial artists took first place, they couldn't let a nobody from Celestial Dynasty take it. Chapter 2004. We have to do everything we can to kill Ling Xiao. Otherwise, none of us will survive. Water Spirit Hall's sect leader, Tianhai Mingyue, gritted her teeth as she spoke to the King of White Horse. That's right. With that brat's personality and his strength, he'll definitely take revenge on us. How could he just stand by and do nothing after what we did to him? The King of White Horse gritted his teeth as well. Since they were planning to seek revenge on Ling Xiao, they'd naturally done their research and knew what kind of person Ling Xiao was. The best outcome would be for Ling Xiao to die at Feng Fei's hands or Tianhai Tyranny's. If not, then we can only join hands with the Celestial Devil Sect and the 4 great clans. They have a deep grudge against Ling Xiao as well. Tianhai Mingyue understood that she was no longer a threat to Ling Xiao with her current strength. Although she was an expert of the older generation, she was no match for Feng Fei. But Ling Xiao was able to fight him to a standstill. This was the difference between them, an extremely large gap. All right, we'll risk it all. If he doesn't die, then we'll die. Despite his regret, the King of White Horse knew it was useless. Ling Xiao wouldn't let him off. Even if he didn't destroy White Horse, he'd kill him. If he didn't want to die, then he had to do everything he could to kill Ling Xiao. On the stage, Feng Fei's gaze was stiff as well. Ling Xiao had risen from the 17th level to the 18th level of Yin-Yang realm, a fact that truly shocked her. But soon enough, her gaze recovered its calm, holy proud, and dignified expression. You've really made me look at you with new eyes. I'll take back my words from before. You're really strong. You have the right to fight for first place at the White Tiger meet. Unfortunately, you met me, so there's no chance for you to advance any further. You're still saying that? You're really a stubborn duck. Ling Xiao replied. This time, you better use your strongest attack. Otherwise, you won't have a chance. Feng Fei didn't say anything. In the sky, the Gate of Laws flashed again and again. The last 3 inscriptions were released at the same time. Heavenly Tao, Gate of Laws, Sword of Heavenly Punishment. Once Feng Fei released all 7 runes, the original celestial deity, attack, trap, and 5 elements formations all vanished. Instead, a majestic giant sword emerged from the Gate of Laws. In that instant, the terrifying power of the heavenly law began to boil. It began to go crazy, as if the entire world was beginning to tremble. The terrifying heavenly punishment sword will continue to press down on Ling Xiao, attempting to stop him from doing anything. Ling Xiao faced the sky and held the blood sun sword. A massive blood sun floated above his head, and his expression was cold. The frenzied red sword intent spilled out crazily, tearing apart the pressure of the heavenly punishment sword intent. Even the heavenly punishment could not make him afraid. Even the laws could not restrain his movements. He, Ling Xiao, wanted to defy the heavens. In the heavens and on earth, only I am supreme. Everyone stared at the stage without blinking. Everyone had an intuition that the 2 of them had already released their full strength. This strike could very well decide the outcome of the battle. Crack! 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 Cracks began to appear on the stage's protective barrier. Both of their sword intents were too powerful. Their sword qi crisscrossed with terrifying sharpness, causing the previously safe barrier to grow uneasy. Strengthen the barrier, Taoist One Eyebrows ordered. The martial artists in charge of maintaining the barrier flew into the air and sat down cross-legged on the 4 sides of the stage to begin their work. Even so, more and more cracks appeared on the barrier. The 4 powerful 18th-level Yin-Yang realm martial artists were gradually unable to hold on. Switch out Life Seizers, Taoist One Eyebrows ordered again. Once the Life Seizers were switched out, the barrier gradually calmed down. Still, the turbulent flow of sword qi caused everyone's hearts to tremble in fear. Boom! The heavenly punishment sword finally emerged from the Gate of Laws, causing the entire world to tremble. The terrifying heavenly punishment sword will surge towards Ling Xiao, wanting to completely pin him down on the spot, not giving him any chance to escape. This heavenly punishment sword really is powerful. It feels like the real thing. It makes people tremble. Everyone was incomparably shocked. It really was too frightening. He wondered how Ling Xiao was going to face this terrifying heavenly punishment sword. In any case, the spectators far away from the stage could feel the terrifying gaze of the heavens. It was as if the heavens wanted to punish them and kill them. Every single cell in their bodies trembled violently. I'm going to die. Fuck! This Feng Fei. I don't want to fight him for the rest of my life. He's simply crazy. Cries of alarm rose from the mouths of the martial artists. They used their shouts to relieve the pressure on their bodies. But Ling Xiao, who bore the brunt of the attack, seemed ready to tear the heavens apart. The blood sun sword in his hand grew even more resplendent. Terrifying sword intent soared into the clouds. No matter how much heavenly punishment sword intent came at him, it was all blocked outside. It's about to end. I wonder who'll win? Even an idiot could tell that both combatants were gathering all of their strength for this attack. They were going to decide the victor in one blow. Neither of them could afford to waste time like this, nor were they willing to. The heavenly punishment sword was still gathering heavenly Tao energy and growing stronger. Feng Fei seemed to have steeled his heart to defeat Ling Xiao in a single blow and prove his own skills. It looks like the sky is about to fall down. The crowd was alarmed to see that the entire sky above them had turned into a terrifying sword and tent that kept descending. What's that? Everyone's eyes suddenly turned to Ling Xiao. Currently, Ling Xiao seemed to have vanished from the stage. The only thing left on the stage was a giant blood sun that kept releasing terrifying sword and tent. The crowd rubbed their eyes, but they still couldn't see Ling Xiao. Right now, Ling Xiao seemed to have turned into a blood sun. How was this possible? But it didn't matter whether it was possible or not. That was the situation on the stage. Between heaven and earth, only the blood sun was shining brighter and brighter. Kill! Kill! Both combatants let out earth-shaking roars at the same time. The heavenly punishment sword suddenly fell, and its terrifying blade almost enveloped the entire arena. At the same time, the blood sun began to spin faster. Finally, it disappeared, leaving behind only a single sword. A long sword that shone with blood-red light. The sword whistled through the air and soared into the clouds as if it wanted to pierce through the heavens. Most of the spectators found it difficult to even breathe. The two sword and tents mixed together and broke through the barrier to rush into the crowd. Countless martial artists weren't injured, but they couldn't help but cry out in pain. It didn't feel good to be injured by sword and tent. Rumble. Chapter 2005. Ling Xiao and Feng Fei's exchange lasted for a full 10 minutes. When the resplendent light finally faded from the arena, Ling Xiao and Feng Fei's figures reappeared. They stood on opposite sides of the arena, their faces expressionless as they stared fixedly at each other. What's going on? Just who won? That's right, who won? If this was before, they might have called out Feng Fei's name directly. But after the terrifying scene just then, they weren't so confident anymore. They felt that Ling Xiao's strength wouldn't lose to Feng Fei's. It was really hard to say who would win and who would lose in this battle. The morning sun had completely risen and shone on everyone's faces, reflecting their frightened and confused faces. All of Thunderclap City had fallen into a deathly stillness. Even the sound of a leaf falling to the ground could be heard clearly. Boom! Suddenly, a sound broke the dead silence. Everyone looked at the side of the ring in astonishment. Feng Fei was sprawled on the ground, face up. Beneath him was a pool of dark red. Everyone's heart trembled violently at this moment. Feng Fei had actually fallen. She didn't even have the strength to stand. On the other side, Ling Xiao's right arm was dripping with blood as well. He'd been injured as well, but his wounds were much lighter than Feng Fei's. The blood sun, sword in his hand, had long vanished. This meant that the battle was over, and he didn't need that sword anymore. Feng Fei, remember this. Ants don't just steal to live. Sometimes they can even pierce through the heavens. Ling Xiao's cold voice rose from his lips. You represent heaven's will, but I represent the ants' counterattack. When he said this, almost everyone understood what was going on. Ling Xiao had actually won this battle. Ling Xiao had actually defeated Feng Fei. He'd actually won against Feng Fei's celestial punishment, sword formed from 7 runes. This victory was fair and square. No one could find any reason to slander him. Feng Fei's body was enshrouded in holy white light as his wounds healed. I have indeed lost, an ant stealing the heavens. You have indeed made me understand a principle. The immobilized Feng Fei could only admit defeat. Otherwise, she believed that Ling Xiao would not hesitate to kill her. He actually lost. Moreover, he admitted defeat. Feng Fei, such a proud woman, had actually admitted defeat. Everyone looked at the young man's indomitable figure in the arena and their hearts trembled. This person had actually reached this step. From a nobody to one of the top 3 in the challenger rankings, and now to defeating Feng Fei. Every time, it brought too many surprises, and too many surprises to the people. Before this, all of them had assumed that Ling Xiao was no match for Feng Fei and Tianhai tyranny. At most, he'd get 3rd place. But now, After Ling Xiao defeated Feng Fei by a huge margin, he even had the chance to compete with Tian Hai Tyranny for first place in the White Tiger Gathering. Now, no one doubted his strength, nor did anyone dare to guarantee that he was inferior to Tian Hai Tyranny. This dark horse did not stop him from rushing forward. He had gotten second place, but he still wanted to get first place. Everyone suddenly recalled Ling Xiao's outstanding performance in the first 2 matches and assumed that Ling Xiao was just lucky. But after this battle, who dared to say that it was luck anymore? Ling Xiao's battle against Feng Fei not only showed his strength, but also his fighting prowess. It was obvious that Ling Xiao was much better at handling details than Feng Fei. His precise moves and perfect timing were all part of the art of battle. The White Tiger Continent spectators didn't know what to feel, but those watching the live broadcast were very excited. To them, the 2 final matches that had no suspense at all had suddenly turned into suspense. They assumed that Feng Fei would win, but Ling Xiao won in the end. This was truly an incomparably pleasant surprise and incomparably exciting. A dark horse galloping, an ant defying the heavens. A young man who came from the weakest continent to the White Tiger Continent had relied on his frightening innate talent, comprehension, and fearless spirit to reach this point. He shone with resplendent light. Just one more step. As long as he defeated Tian Hai Tyranny, a true legend would be born. History would forever remember this young man's existence. Although second place wasn't bad, it would be forgotten in the end. People would only remember the champion standing on the stage, not the second or third place. As long as Ling Xiao defeated Tian Hai Tyranny, his story would be sung by countless cultivators of the Celestial Dragon, Divine Phoenix, and White Tiger continents. Perhaps a few years later, when Ling Xiao reached the peak of the profound world, these cultivators would be able to point at him and say, "Look, that's the legend who walked out of the White Tiger Summit. We've all seen his rise. Celestial Empire, Celestial Emperor Ling Xiao." Many cultivators had treated him as a joke. A mere 17-year-old child dared to call himself the Celestial Emperor? But now who dared to laugh at him? No matter who it was, even those rebirth realm experts, when they were 17 years old, they couldn't compare to Ling Xiao by much. This youth wasn't very tall, and his body wasn't very strong, but his figure was like a mountain, deeply imprinted in the hearts of all the spectators. Everyone had the desire to defy the heavens and change their fate. They all had the idea of an ant rising against them. Thus, they were very excited at the appearance of an ant like Ling Xiao. They felt that Ling Xiao was their role model. Even if he couldn't do it as brilliantly or as powerfully, as long as he could display even a tenth of Ling Xiao's strength, that would be enough. Boom! Near the stage, in the spectator seats, a powerful battle intent suddenly ignited. Everyone's gaze turned towards the owner of this battle intent. It was Tian Hai Tyranny. Tian Hai Tyranny's originally calm gaze seemed to be unable to remain calm. From the start, he hadn't thought much of Ling Xiao. He kept saying that killing Ling Xiao would be as easy as killing a mouse. In his eyes, only Feng Fei was worthy of being his opponent. He thought that defeating Feng Fei meant that the White Tiger Meets Championship was in the bag. But Ling Xiao's victory had changed everything. His battle with Feng Fei wasn't the final battle. Next, he had to defeat Ling Xiao to truly become the champion of the White Tiger meet. It felt a little absurd. Ling Xiao would actually become a stumbling block for him to win the championship. This weak little martial artist from the Sky Dragon continent actually became his mortal enemy. He suddenly recalled the information on Ling Xiao that Phoenix Cry Chishan had given him. Chapter 2006. He didn't even look at the information on Ling Xiao that Feng Ming had given to Tian Hai Tyranny. Instead, he tossed it into the fire and burned it, because he felt that he didn't need to care about a mere martial artist from the Sky Dragon continent. He only needed to keep an eye on Feng Fei. But now he felt like he'd underestimated this person. Jiu Dream was also looking at Ling Xiao in shock. He couldn't help but secretly admire his old palace head's sharp eyes. He'd randomly picked a successor with such terrifying talent. Even if Ling Xiao couldn't win the championship, he could still count as a victory as long as he stood on the stage of the final battle. Xian Ming, Daoist One Eyebrows, the Tiger King, and the Green Hill Queen all had ugly expressions. This stage was supposed to be a battle between the 5 great powers. But in the end, this guy who was supposed to be cannon fodder stood on the battlefield. Ha ha ha, everyone, don't worry. My son will definitely kill him, not only for his woman, but for the dignity of our white tiger continent. Tianhai, Sovereign King, laughed out loud. He was in a good mood. He never thought that the dignity of the white tiger continent would depend on his son to protect it. His son, Heavenly Ocean Tyranny, had actually become the hero that everyone in the white tiger continent had placed their hopes on. If it had been a battle between his son and Feng Fei, it wouldn't have been so intense. This final battle concerned the dignity of an entire continent. If he'd said that at the start, he'd have been laughed at. Ling Xiao, you have 2 hours to rest. Next, you'll start the final battle with Tianhai Tyranny. Is that all right? Lawless was stunned as well. He never thought that the final battle would be between 2 people like this. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao. 2 hours was the minimum. If Ling Xiao hadn't fully recovered, they'd have to keep delaying. Thus, when the final battle would start would depend on when Ling Xiao could recover. I don't need that long. Give me 5 minutes. Ling Xiao said mildly. He said it casually, but the bystanders gaped at his words. Only 5 minutes? Could he really recover? Idiot, don't give up the precious opportunity to rest for a bit of vanity. 2 hours is a must for you. Jiu Tianmeng was also a little angry. She assumed that Ling Xiao had said he'd only rest for 5 minutes because of his vanity. He'd become arrogant after beating Feng Fei. She did not like this kind of person. A martial artist should not be arrogant in victory or discouraged in defeat. That was right. Yeah, kid, you should rest a bit more. Otherwise, you'll definitely be at a disadvantage against Heavenly Ocean Tyranny. Hong Qi also advised. He also felt that Ling Xiao was a little childish. After all, Tianhai tyrannical ambition was stronger than Feng Fei and wanted to kill him. If he didn't rest well, he might not only lose a match, but he might even lose his precious life. 9 Heavens Palace Head. Grandfather, there's no need for you to coax me any further. Just then I defeated Feng Fei. Aside from some flesh wounds, I didn't use up much energy. All of you should also understand that the first drumbeat is a success, the second is a failure, and the third is exhaustion. Right now, my fighting spirit is high and my morale is high. I definitely can't rest for too long. Ling Xiao's words were reasonable, but in the ears of others, they felt that something was off. What was going on? Just then, the 2 of them had clearly been evenly matched, but he'd only suffered some flesh wounds. Didn't use up much energy? Was that even possible? Feng Fei was in the middle of treating her wounds when she heard Ling Xiao's words. She spat out a mouthful of blood. If Ling Xiao was just boasting, then so be it. But if he was telling the truth, then where was Feng Fei's face? What was she in front of Ling Xiao? He called her an ant. But didn't that mean she couldn't even touch an ant's leg? Heavenly Ocean tyrannical ambition. Kill him, and I'll agree to your request. Feng Fei stiffened her neck as she spoke to Heavenly Ocean tyrannical ambition. Are you serious? Heavenly Ocean tyrannical ambition was overjoyed. His ideal crown prince consort was none other than Feng Fei. Unfortunately, Feng Fei was too proud for his own good. But today, Feng Fei was willing to use herself as a stake in a bet for Ling Xiao's death. If you don't believe me, I can swear in front of the world that as long as you can defeat Ling Xiao, even if you can't kill him, I'm willing to marry you and become your new crown prince consort. Feng Fei wiped the blood from her lips as she spoke loudly. Whoosh! Feng Fei's words caused a stir among the crowd. She was actually using herself as a prize to provoke Heavenly Ocean tyrannical ambition. Wouldn't Heavenly Ocean tyrannical ambition fight to the death? All right, it's a promise. Don't worry, beloved consort. I'll definitely make this brat kneel and admit his wrongs in front of you. Heavenly Ocean tyrannical ambition slowly rose to their feet and waited for the time to end. 5 minutes wasn't exactly short, but it certainly wasn't long. Soon enough, Ling Xiao opened his eyes and stepped onto the stage. He glanced at Feng Fei and said, "You're really going all out, but it's a pity that he's no match for me." Heavenly Ocean tyrannical ambition stepped onto the stage as well, but he wasn't in a rush to make a move. Both of them were peak experts, so Heavenly Ocean tyrannical ambition naturally understood that killing Ling Xiao wouldn't be easy. Thus, they had to be cautious. "Ling Xiao, how about a life and death match today?" Heavenly Ocean tyrannical ambition looked at Ling Xiao and asked coldly. "Sure." Ling Xiao agreed without hesitation. He still had that indifferent expression on his face, making it impossible for others to tell what he was thinking, and even more impossible to see through his depth. "Hold it." Taoist One Eyebrows suddenly said, "You two are peak geniuses of the white tiger meat. No matter who dies, it'll be a loss to the 3 continents. A life and death match is absolutely forbidden, unless it's an accident." "That's right. It's a pity for either of you to die." Xianming nodded as well. Geniuses were the favorites of all the major powers. Although many of them had grudges against Ling Xiao, if they could get Ling Xiao to join their ranks, then their power would rise again. It would be a pity for either of them to die. "The rules won't change. Whoever concedes or falls off the stage will lose. Of course, if they don't, it won't be against the rules, even if they die." In the end, the organizing committee decided to keep the rules unchanged. Although they didn't want either of them to die, they couldn't restrict their performance. The original rules were the best. "You're very lucky. The rules won't change, so you'll have the chance to concede." Heavenly Ocean tyrannical ambition looked mockingly at Ling Xiao. After all, at their level, it was almost impossible to give the other side no chance to concede. "They'll say what they want, and we'll do what we want. As long as neither of us concedes, won't it be over?" Ling Xiao said mildly. "All right, it's a deal." Heavenly Ocean tyrannical ambition said clearly. Chapter 2007. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean released a powerful aura, intending to give Ling Xiao a taste of his own medicine. At the same time, his body flashed with terrifying killing intent towards Ling Xiao. "Demon King Tyrant Fist, die for me." His 2 fists smashed out like heavy hammers, the enormous fists almost covering the entire stage. Terrifying demonic energy spilled out, turning the stage into a demonic domain. Ling Xiao smiled coldly, his body releasing demonic energy at the same time, and the faint image of an immemorial heavenly demon appear behind him. Similarly domineering, similarly fierce. Whether it was in terms of momentum or power, he didn't lose to Tyranny Heavenly Ocean. Heavenly Demon Fist. Kill. The 2 fists were also filled with an evil and domineering aura. At this moment, the stage was enveloped in darkness. Everyone felt as if a demon had invaded their hearts, and they felt incomparably terrified. Boom! Fierce fists bloomed. The 2's first probing punch ended in a draw. "Stop playing around, Tyranny Heavenly Ocean. You know that this level of attack is useless against me." Ling Xiao said indifferently. "Okay, since you like it, let's get to the point." Tyranny Heavenly Ocean retreated, and in the air his body began to transform. Demon King body. At the same time, Ling Xiao's body also transformed. Heavenly Demon incarnation. The 2 demon king-like fellows stood in the void above the arena, releasing devilish chi continuously. "Fuck, it feels like I'm in the demon realm. It's so cold." Many of the spectators couldn't help but shiver. Who would have thought that this final battle would be a battle between demons? It really was unexpected. Kill! The two roared at the same time. Then, the two mountain-like demons moved on the stage, their terrifying fists smashing towards each other. Rumble! With just one punch, a hole appeared in the stage's protective barrier, and a large amount of black energy rushed out. A first-level life-sizer actually coughed up blood. The battle between these two madmen was too terrifying. I'll make up for it. Tyrant, Heavenly Ocean, flew out. He wanted to protect this battlefield so that his son could win, and not give Ling Xiao any chance to escape. Once the stage was broken, Ling Xiao would have an excuse, and he didn't want that. With the addition of a rebirth realm martial artist, the protective barrier instantly became much stronger. After all, his strength was there. Dark Demon Sword, kill! Ling Xiao waved his hand, and a huge dark sword appeared. Although he had used it to fight against Phoenix Shadow, he didn't use of the dark demon sword, because he didn't feel that it was necessary. But against Tyranny Heavenly Ocean, Tyranny Heavenly Demon, the black sword light pierced through the air, charging towards Heavenly Sea Tyranny with unstoppable momentum. Demonic Sword, Heavenly Demon, Heavenly Ocean of Heavenly Ocean, S of Heavenly, his strengths of his strength, Heavenly Ocean, have Heavenly his. He had to use this demonic Heavenly Demon Sword. Similarly, the terrifying sword light blocked Ling Xiao's sword chi, preventing it from advancing. In the air, the two black sword lights were in a stalemate, facing each other. Can you block it? Heavenly Demon, World Destruction Art, Body Destruction. Suddenly, Ling Xiao's dark demon sword increased in power, tearing apart the demonic Heavenly Demon sword chi and continuing to advance. It was as if it wanted to tear apart everything in this world. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean of Heavenly Ocean felt his sword chi being destroyed, and his face couldn't help but tremble. Ling Xiao's swordsmanship was too strong. This was a true blade master, different from him. His demonic Heavenly Demon sword was just a technique. But should he admit defeat? Of course not. Behind him, a raging sea appeared. The demonic Heavenly Demon sword's power also increased in an instant, once again regaining the advantage. Demonic Heavenly Demon sword, power of the raging sea. With a shout, the terrifying raging sea martial soul exploded with astonishing power. The giant Demon King's body wielded the demonic Heavenly Demon sword to kill Ling Xiao. In that instant, Ling Xiao's body seemed to be filled with a black sea of demonic Heavenly Demon sword that wanted to drown him. He couldn't breathe, wanted to die in this sea of demonic Heavenly Demon sword. This sea of demonic Heavenly Demon sword blotted out the sky and covered the earth, completely isolating Ling Xiao from the surrounding elements. Ling Xiao's eyes shone with cold splendor. The celestial demon incarnation's face didn't change in the slightest. The dark demon sword waved again. Heavenly Demon World Destruction Art, Heart Destruction. Heavenly Demon World Destruction Art, Soul Destruction. 2 consecutive sword strikes, Heart Destruction and Soul Destruction. The terrifying black sword light stirred up the entire demonic Heavenly Demon sword, causing the spectators to tremble in fear. But the demonic Heavenly Ocean of Heavenly Ocean Tyranny's demonic Heavenly Demon sword, combined with the raging sea martial soul's attack, was clearly stronger than the one he used to defeat Feng Fei. Ling Xiao was as cold as ever, his strange eyes flashing with a cold light. Heavenly Demon World Destruction Art, Soul Destruction. An even more tyrannical sword chi tore through the demonic Heavenly Ocean of Heavenly Ocean Tyranny's demonic Heavenly Demon sword with unstoppable momentum. The sword light flashed and disappeared. A few terrifying explosions rang out in the air. Then the two demonic Heavenly Demon swords simultaneously took a step back, causing all of Thunderclap's city to shake. The only difference was that there was a black sword mark on Heavenly Ocean Tyranny's demonic Heavenly Demon sword that burned with terrifying sword intent. It was clear that he had been injured. This attack seemed evenly matched, but in reality, Ling Xiao had a slight advantage. Of course, this advantage didn't change anything. Heavenly Ocean Tyranny had the water-bear martial soul. Let alone such a light wound. Even if it was more serious, it would probably heal in an instant. Heavenly Ocean Tyranny's demonic eye stared coldly at Ling Xiao, filled with incomparable anger and shock. But it didn't diminish his arrogance. It looks like it wasn't a coincidence that you defeated Feng Fei. You're at the 18th level of the Yinyang realm, and you've mastered the 3rd level of sword intent. With this kind of strength, even first-level life seizers won't be your match. You flatter me. Ling Xiao's voice was as indifferent as ever, as if the string of attacks from before hadn't even existed. Do you really think you're so strong just because I praised you a bit? I forgot to tell you, but I obtained a legacy from the blood purgatory battles. After familiarizing myself with the trial grounds, I've already mastered it. With this legacy, you won't stand a chance. Heavenly Ocean Tyranny's cold voice rang out. Then, a strange Buddha image appeared behind him. At the same time, his body began to change, becoming black and gold. Even his face split into two. One was a malevolent demon face, the other a dignified Buddha face. The Buddha image behind him became even more real. 12 golden Sanskrit characters floated in the air. They weren't illusory but solid. Chapter 2008. It was as if a terrifying power from ancient times was being released endlessly, making everyone tremble in fear. Black Wind Canyon has produced 3 inheritances stronger than the 6 great inheritances. Now, one of them has finally been revealed. Heavenly Sea Tyranny's double-faced Buddha inheritance. Lawless looked at Heavenly Sea Tyranny in astonishment. The 3 top inheritances had never been revealed, so he assumed that the contestants didn't dare to use them because they weren't familiar with them yet. But now it looked like Heavenly Sea Tyranny had completely obtained the double-faced Buddha's inheritance. Otherwise, their aura wouldn't have become so strong. Rumors said that the double-faced Buddha was a human powerhouse who had been corrupted by celestial demons. When he was still a human, he was already second only to the 12 human immortals. Later, he was corrupted by celestial demons. But not only did he not die, he didn't turn into a demon either. Instead, he combined the 2 powers to become an even more terrifying existence. This was the double-faced Buddha, half demon. Even the 12 Sanskrit characters in the sky were half pure gold, half black gold. Could Ling Xiao really deal with this terrifying double-faced Buddha inheritance? After all, when Heavenly Sea Tyranny defeated Feng Fei, he hadn't fully comprehended the double-faced Buddha inheritance. It was only at the small success stage, so it wasn't very useful. But after his battle with Feng Fei, Heavenly Sea Tyranny's double-faced Buddha inheritance had advanced to proficiency. Incomparably powerful. Even more powerful than his Devil's Sky Sword. Now that Ling Xiao could force Heavenly Sea Tyranny to this point, it was clear that Ling Xiao's strength was even more terrifying than Feng Fei's. Seeing Heavenly Sea Tyranny's double-faced Buddha body, Ling Xiao creased his brows. But it was only a frown. His opponent's strength didn't make him afraid. Instead, it made him more interested in battle. In that instant, Ling Xiao put away his double-faced demon sword and opened sky devil purgatory. A terrifying devilish aura was emitted from the heavenly devil purgatory, and a pitch-black figure was roaring within. Against Heavenly Sea Tyranny, Ling Xiao planned to use the ultimate move of Sky Devil transformation. Everyone stared at Ling Xiao. It was this move that had forced Lei Lai into desperate straits. After all, Lei Lai might not be as strong as Feng Fei or Heavenly Sea Tyranny, but he was still one of the top 3 geniuses. He was actually rendered helpless by this move. Whether the double-faced Buddha's demonic Buddha body, or Ling Zhao's heavenly devil purgatory, was stronger would be revealed very soon. Humph. This move of yours is nothing more than a struggle. Tyranny Heavenly Seas coldly snorted, not caring at all. In the sky, 12 black and gold Sanskrit characters shot towards Ling Zhao. Each Sanskrit character represented a different kind of power. They wanted to kill Ling Zhao in the arena. Ling Zhao didn't say anything. Demonic creatures stepped out of the heavenly devil purgatory and charged at the Sanskrit characters fearlessly. The sounds of collisions continued to explode in the sky. Those who were only interested in watching the show would probably only be able to see this earth-shattering battle. The monsters and the Sanskrit characters continued to collide. However, he did not notice that in Ling Zhao's sky devil purgatory, a huge black shadow was accumulating terrifying power. Tyranny Heavenly Seas probably didn't notice either. If they did, there was no way they would let Ling Zhao go. When the power accumulated to a certain degree, a smile appeared on the face of Ling Zhao's sky demon avatar. You're right. Tyranny Heavenly Seas, my sky devil purgatory is indeed struggling, fighting for time. Dark demon sword, Tao Tai Apocalypse. A low and cold voice came from Ling Zhao's mouth. The sky devil purgatory suddenly grew larger. From that pitch-black purgatory, an ancient and terrifying sound slowly came out. Something was letting out a low and shuddering roar. When this terrifying sound came out, everyone's hearts began to beat violently. A terrifying head finally stretched out from the sky devil purgatory. Its cold and suffocating eyes looked towards Tyranny Heavenly Seas. In that instant, Tyranny Heavenly Seas actually felt the threat of death. When the giant beast finally came out, it let out a roar that shocked even the Rebirth realm martial artists. How could Ling Zhao have such terrifying swordsmanship? This sword contained the power to swallow the heavens and destroy the earth. It had the power to swallow the entire universe. Kill! Ling Zhao's voice rose again. The terrifying Tao Tai melded into the sharp sword chi and swept towards Tyranny Heavenly Seas with unstoppable might. Rumble! The 12 Sanskrit characters shattered one after another. Everyone watched this scene with fear. Ling Zhao actually had such terrifying swordsmanship. If he had used this move against Feng Fei would have died long ago. In an instant, the world became peaceful again. There was no more Sanskrit aura. There was no more demon Buddha aura. Apart from soaring heavens and tyrannical heavenly seas, everything else disappeared without a trace. Everyone could clearly see that both the Sanskrit characters and Tyranny Heavenly Seas aura had been swallowed up by the terrifying Tao Tai beast. Everyone looked at Ling Zhao in horror. This person had actually exploded with such terrifying power. This Tao Tai beast came from outside the profound world and had the power to swallow planets. How could this guy have it? Just how many trump cards did he have? In their eyes, Ling Zhao had become even more mysterious and frightening. Uft! Tyranny Heavenly Seas, Demon Buddha body swayed. The 12 Sanskrit characters were the essence of the Demon Buddha body. They were instantly shattered, and his soul suffered heavy damage. He spat out a mouthful of blood, dyeing the stage red. Tyranny Heavenly Seas, do you think you're the only one with so many trump cards? If you have one, I have one. If you don't believe me, let's compare. Ling Zhao's indifferent voice came from his mouth. Do you think I'm going to struggle to survive under your Demon Buddha body? There's no need for that. Since it's such a big threat, I'll just destroy it. Tyranny Heavenly Seas stared coldly at Ling Zhao, his eyes filled with crazy anger. You really surprise me, but you don't need to bluff. I'm afraid that this sword is already your strongest attack. As for me, it was just a warm-up. Congratulations, you forced me to use my full strength. You won't have any more chances now. Ling Zhao said disdainfully, if you can win by flipping your lips, why don't we all practice our mouths? Take out your so-called trump card and let me see it. I want to know if it can really threaten me. Your 12 Sanskrit characters were probably the only attack method of the demon Buddha body. I've already broken it, but my heavenly demon incarnation is still intact. You'll know. Tyranny Heavenly Seas sneered. The demon Buddha body that had been pierced by apocalypse of Tautai began to recover faster. His aura was rising at an astonishing rate. Boom! Chapter 2009. A shocking aura erupted from Tianhai Tyranny's body. Once again, the audience was so shocked that they didn't know what to say. Second-level life seizing. Heavens, this Tianhai Tyranny is actually second-level life seizing. How could Ling Xiao win? This guy's too strong. I really have to admit defeat. Feng Fei couldn't help but smile wryly. He thought that Tianhai Tyranny had used all of his strength in this battle. However, this scene made her understand. His opponent hadn't used all of his strength. Second-level life seizing was probably the strongest cultivation level of any of the geniuses at the White Tiger meet. Do you see Ling Xiao? A true genius will never reveal his trump cards too early. You've already lost the moment you thought you could beat me just because you defeated my 12 Sanskrit characters. Today, I'll show you what a true genius is. An ant that came from a corner, like you should obediently be an ant and not always think about defying the heavens. As Tianhai Tyranny spoke, his devil Buddha form grew even more solid. Even without the 12 Sanskrit characters, Tianhai Tyranny's aura was clearly stronger than before. In the end, cultivation was the key to a person's strength. Second level, life seizing, was much higher than the 18th level of Yin Yang. Devil King Fist, Great Buddha Seal. His massive body took a step forward as Tianhai Tyranny punched out with both palms. One side was the Devil King Fist, the other the Great Buddha Seal. One side was a black gold fist, the other a pure gold palm. The two opposing forces merged harmoniously into one. They were clearly separate, but they had the terrifying effect of 1 + 1 greater than 2. Die for me. Tianhai Tyranny's domineering aura was even stronger than before. His terrifying cultivation coupled with the Devil Buddha's body. His strength had obviously increased a lot compared to before. Rumble. The demons flying out of the heavenly devil purgatory were smashed to pieces as the fist and palm energy merged into one. Ling Xiao's heavenly devil incarnation was completely deformed. Ling Xiao punched back with both fists, but they were too weak to fight back. His massive body was pushed back repeatedly, leaving deep marks on the stage. Is it going to end? Everyone looked at Ling Xiao. Some people hoped that Ling Xiao would be killed. There were also people who hoped that Ling Xiao would be able to make a comeback. Crack! Crack! Ling Xiao's heavenly demon incarnation couldn't withstand the terrifying fist and palm attacks at all, and its shattered shell shattered into pieces. His true body was actually exposed, and he was caught in the palm of the huge demonic claw. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean looked coldly at Ling Xiao in his palm. Disdain, contempt, arrogance, insufferably arrogant. Kill him! Feng Fei shouted. Kill him! The people of the heavenly demon cult, Water God Temple, and White Horse were all shouting. Ling Xiao's body seemed to be unable to move, no matter how Tyranny Heavenly Ocean grabbed him. As long as they used even the slightest bit of force, Ling Xiao would be crushed to pieces. He once pinched someone to death like this. Karma really comes quickly. I'm afraid he won't even have the chance to admit defeat. Some people rejoiced in his misfortune. For example, Green Hills, Leaf Fire, Feng Fei, and Fengying. For example, those who had a grudge against Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, what else do you have to say? Your heavenly demon incarnation is broken, and your little life is in my palm. You don't even have the chance to admit defeat, so how are you going to compete with me for first place in the White Tiger meet? Tyranny Heavenly Ocean's domineering voice came from the mouth of the demon Buddha. His indomitable and imposing figure was magnificent and imposing. Who else but him could surpass him? This is what it means to be the sole sovereign of the heavens and earth. First place is set. The Tian Hai Sovereign King said excitedly. Congratulations, Tian Hai Sovereign King. You've raised a good son and protected the last of our white tiger continent's dignity. Otherwise, if we lose to this brat, our white tiger continent's martial artists won't be able to face anyone in the future. The Tiger King said loudly. That's right. How can the Sky Dragon continent's martial artists let him stay in the dark? The Green Hill Queen said coldly. It's already not bad that this brat could get second place, but he was still greedy and tried to get first place. Now that he's about to lose his life, it's too late for regrets. The Sky Wolf sect master shook his head. Although his Sky Wolf sect didn't get any results this time, the Heavenly Wolf Prince and Silver Wolf Princess didn't die. This could be considered a fortune amidst misfortune. Hee hee, ha ha ha, ha ha. Crazy laughter suddenly came from Ling Zhao's mouth. What are you laughing at? Tyranny Tianhai furrowed his brows. At this moment, Ling Zhao should be begging for forgiveness. That way, his vanity would be satisfied to the fullest. What am I laughing at? I'm laughing at you all for being a bunch of idiots. You all know that 3 of the top inheritances in Black Wind Canyon have been obtained. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean obtained 1. Then who obtained the other 2? Ling Zhao smiled coldly. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean, oh Tyranny Heavenly Ocean. Do you really think that trash like you can kill me? Tyranny Heavenly Ocean's face was cold, as if he was very angry. He hoped that Ling Zhao would kneel in front of him and beg for mercy, but this guy clearly had no intention of doing so. You're just bluffing. Do you really think you have any other trump cards? You're in my palm. I can crush you to death at any time. Even if we take 10,000 steps back and say that you still have a powerful sword technique, like just now, there's no way you can escape from my hands. You said that you wouldn't admit defeat, but I'll give you a chance to admit defeat. Killing you is too boring. If you're willing to follow this crown prince and become this crown prince's dog, then I'll give you a chance. I'll consider sparing your dog life. What wishful thinking. You think you have victory in your hands, but you don't know that I was just playing with you just now. Ling Zhao smiled coldly. Ah! Suddenly, a mournful scream came from Tyranny Heavenly Ocean's mouth. To everyone's horror, Tyranny Heavenly Ocean's Devil Buddha hand had been cut off by a sword light. Ling Zhao coldly stood in the air, his body covered in blood-red armor. The blood-red cloak behind him fluttered in the wind. In his hand was a pure white holy sword. Holy sword, white blade. There were also 2 swords floating above his head. One was the sword of slaughter, and the other was the sword of destruction. These were the 3 origin swords Ling Zhao had obtained from the killing god White Blade. They were also the essence of the White Blade's inheritance. Although his body was much smaller than the previous heavenly demon incarnation, only the size of a human, the terrifying murderous aura was even more frightening than the heavenly demon incarnation. Now, do you still think I'm an ant that you can crush at any time? Ling Zhao looked coldly at Tyranny Heavenly Ocean. To tell the truth, Tyranny Heavenly Ocean was already strong enough for him to use the killing god White Blade's inheritance. He really was much stronger than Feng Fei. Feng Fei probably only knew how to scheme against others and wasn't as dedicated to martial arts as Tyranny Heavenly Ocean. Chapter 2010. Kill. Ling Zhao roared. The sword of slaughter and the sword of destruction tore through the air, containing a heaven-destroying, earth-shattering sword intent. They tore apart Heavenly Sea Tyranny's demonic energy and then stabbed towards the demon Buddha. Heavenly Sea Tyranny hurriedly raised a golden palm to block. However, what came out was a miserable scream. The giant Buddha palm was also cut in half. Even though your cultivation base has reached the 2nd level of the life-seizing realm, do you still have any internal energy left? Ling Xiao looked at Heavenly Sea Tyranny mockingly. At this point in the battle, Heavenly Sea Tyranny was constantly recovering from his injuries. However, he didn't realize that his internal energy had been depleted. However, Ling Xiao was different. With the Taiji eye, he carefully judged the use of every move. Not even a sliver of internal energy would be wasted. He already had more internal energy than Heavenly Sea Tyranny. Combined with his terrifying soul strength, there was no way Heavenly Sea Tyranny could compare to him. And he was especially good at saving energy. Heavenly Sea Tyranny had unknowingly fallen into an awkward situation of running out of internal energy. You can't kill me. As long as I have the water bear martial soul, I can keep reviving. I'll exhaust you to death. Heavenly Sea Tyranny had no other choice. Even though his cultivation base was high, his internal energy was almost depleted. The only thing he could rely on was his nearly undying water bear martial soul. This was a shameless tactic, but he couldn't admit defeat to Ling Xiao. Do you really think you're undying? Ling Xiao laughed disdainfully. His figure flashed, and in the blink of an eye, hundreds of sword lights shot out from his white blade. These sword lights tore the demon Buddha's body into hundreds of pieces. As Heavenly Sea Tyranny howled in pain, he threw a pill into his mouth. Right now, he had no choice but to rely on pills to replenish his internal energy. It was clear that even with the water bear martial soul, he still needed internal energy. Isn't eating pills against the rules? Everyone looked towards the referee, wanting to know the answer. However, none of the referees made a sound. Ling Xiao looked disdainfully at Tyranny Tianhai. Those judges are blind, but your heart is blind. Eating a pill in front of me, I want to see how long you can last. 3 swords, 3 sword lights, one after another, shot towards Heavenly Sea Tyranny. In order to conserve his chi, Heavenly Ocean Tyranny removed his demon Buddha body, only keeping his original body. His body was constantly being torn apart. Although he didn't die, the pain continued. He tossed the pills into his mouth, one by one. Ling Xiao continued to destroy him, but never managed to knock him out of the arena. Now, it was time to see who could last longer. No matter how abundant Ling Xiao's chi is, if this continues, he'll definitely lose. Heavenly Sea Tyranny is the crown prince of Heavenly Sea Empire. The pills he has aren't something Ling Xiao can compare to. Some of the White Tiger Empire's players began to get excited, even though Heavenly Sea Tyranny's current situation wasn't looking good. He was completely relying on pills to maintain his undying body. But if he had pills, what could you do? As long as he could exhaust Ling Xiao to death, it would be worth it. This went on for a full half an hour before Ling Xiao finally stopped attacking. Heavenly Sea Tyranny's face revealed a pleased expression. Even though he had almost run out of pills, it was finally his turn to counterattack. Ling Xiao probably didn't have any more chi to support him. Thinking of this, Heavenly Sea Tyranny swallowed the remaining pills, called out Devil Sky Sword, and slashed towards Ling Xiao. Idiot, you think you're the only one with pills? Don't forget, I'm a medicine master. Ling Xiao was indeed running out of chi, but he had more confidence than Heavenly Sea Tyranny. As soon as the pill entered his mouth, a crazy amount of energy began to spread throughout his body. His pill was even more effective than Heavenly Sea Tyranny's 100 pills. In an instant, he recovered nearly half of his chi. The originally dim, holy sword white blade flashed with a resplendent white light once more. Between heaven and earth, killing intent and sword chi filled the air once more. Ling Xiao stood there like the reincarnation of the killing god White Blade. He coldly looked at Heavenly Sea Tyranny, revealing a cold smile. Tyrannical Heavenly Ocean suddenly stopped. His eyes revealed incomparable despair. In reality, from the moment Ling Xiao swallowed the pill, he knew he had no chance. He had been completely defeated. If he continued to charge, only death would await him. I admit defeat. Heavenly Sea Tyranny's eyes revealed an expression of pain and unwillingness. He anxiously shouted these 3 words. He had lost. He had lost completely. There was no chance. Ling Xiao looked at Heavenly Sea Tyranny across from him. His terrifying killing intent instantly vanished, and his 3 origin swords returned to his body. The blood-red armor and cloak on his body disappeared. You actually admitted defeat? What a coward. I don't know who agreed to a battle to the death with me. You're not even as good as Fierce Thunder. Ling Xiao said disdainfully. Humph, as long as I can keep my life, I don't care. I may have lost to you today, but very soon I'll kill you. Just you wait. Perhaps because he knew that as long as he admitted defeat on the stage, the opponent couldn't attack, Heavenly Sea Tyranny's arrogance erupted once more. Ha 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 ha, you're a complete idiot. From the moment you admitted defeat, your martial path was already cut off. You still want to kill me? Maybe in your next life. Ling Xiao faced the sky and laughed. Those who were defeated by him would never have the chance to catch up to him. If he couldn't even do this, how could he, Ling Xiao, become the strongest in the profound world? Pitiful genius, you're only stronger than me in terms of pride. Ling Xiao looked disdainfully at Heavenly Sea Tyranny. This person cultivated Demon King Haki. Admitting defeat was the same as shattering his martial heart. Unless he cultivated something else, there would always be flaws, and he would never be able to achieve anything. Heavenly Sea Tyranny gritted his teeth, but had no way to refute. He believed himself to be the strongest genius, but against Ling Xiao he had no chance at all. Who was the real genius? Who was the strongest? The answer was obvious. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao's youthful face and couldn't help but sigh inwardly. This youth was only 17 years old. He hadn't even reached adulthood yet, but he'd already reached the peak of the white tiger meat. Perhaps he couldn't compare to many of the older generation's experts, but he was invincible against anyone under 30. Before the white tiger meat had even started, how many people besides Ling Xiao could have imagined that he would be able to crush everyone step by step and reach the summit of the white tiger meat? The strongest genius? They thought it would be Feng Fei, Heavenly Sea Tyranny, Lei Lai, or Fenging. They even guessed that it would be any one of the 13 top geniuses, but they'd overlooked Ling Xiao. Countless people had even treated Ling Xiao as cannon fodder, but they'd been slapped in the face again and again. Ling Xiao had used his own strength to tell everyone that they'd been blinded. He, Ling Xiao, was the one who had the most right to reach the summit of the white tiger meat. Chapter 2011. Master, as expected, you're the strongest. Cold Plum looked quietly at Ling Xiao. Perhaps she was one of those few who firmly believed that Ling Xiao could reach the end. She had never doubted her master's strength, but now she was even more resolute. Ha ha ha, Big Brother really is too strong. It's almost impossible for me to catch up to him. For a moment, Long Chen had thought that he could surpass Ling Xiao with his innate talents as a dragon, but now he was completely speechless. This big brother of his was really too strong. He was so strong that it was impossible to surpass him. All one could do was chase after him with all their might. Sun Lingchan and Lu Lian both had warm smiles on their faces. It really was like a dream. Lu Lian still remembered Ling Xiao's battle with the Sun Clan's martial artists at the Lu estate. Back then, Ling Xiao had already displayed his terrifying potential. But in truth, she never expected Ling Xiao to defeat Feng Fei and Tianhai's tyrannical ambition and reach this point. Sun Lingchan was the same. She still remembered the first time she met Ling Xiao. At that time, she didn't think much of Ling Xiao's cultivation. Even after Ling Xiao revealed some of his strength, she still couldn't believe that Ling Xiao had relied on so many frightening trump cards to take first place in the assembly. She even suspected that this guy might have other trump cards up his sleeve. Feng Minglian, Ji Luoyu, Mou, Zhu Xiaocong, and the rest all shouted excitedly. After experiencing so much fear and trepidation, it was only natural for them to vent their frustrations in this moment of victory. He shouldn't have used his full strength yet. Jiu Tiandream looked at Ling Xiao as she spoke to Jiu Tiandu. How did Palace Head know? Jiu Tiandu asked. My intuition told me. Jiu Tiandream smiled. Originally, she'd only developed a bit of interest in Ling Xiao because of the old Palace Head. But now she loved this little guy to death. Jiu Tian Palace had to take this child as a disciple. Kid, you're really surprising. But old Hong, shouldn't we prepare an escape plan? The liquor demon sword glanced at Hong Chi and asked, and Nine Heavens Palace might not be reliable either. Let's just follow Ling Xiao's plan. Hong Chi was also shocked that his grandson could get first place. These people sincerely wished Ling Xiao well, but the end of the conference also meant that danger was coming. They knew very well what kind of people they had offended. After contacting each other, they quietly left the venue while the scene was still chaotic. There were those who supported Ling Xiao, and naturally there were also those who hated Ling Xiao. The Black Tortoise Temple, the Heavenly Demon Cult, the Tianhai Empire, the Silver Fox Empire, the Water God Temple, and the White Horse Empire. It could even be said that the entire White Tiger continent had developed a strong hostility towards Ling Xiao. After all, Ling Xiao had defeated the most outstanding genius of their White Tiger continent. That was equivalent to giving them a tight slap in the face. How could they not be angry? They actually allowed this guy to get first place in the White Tiger meet. It was simply unimaginable. The scene once again fell into a deathly silence. The people watching the live broadcast were also stunned. At a certain moment, Ling Xiao raised his right fist, and a victorious smile bloomed on his face. Domineering, confident, arrogant. At this moment, the scene finally became chaotic, and all kinds of curses were heard. However, in front of the live broadcast, there were countless people cheering and jumping for joy, especially the entire Dragon Phoenix continent. It was almost completely crazy. On that continent that was looked down upon by almost the entire mystic world, no one dared to imagine that their young genius could get such results in the White Tiger meet. They celebrated wildly, and everyone rushed out of their homes, fighting to spread the news. Ling Xiao, congratulations! Xian Ming stood up and looked at Ling Xiao. His smile was uglier than crying. This Ling Xiao actually stepped on his Black Tortoise Temple to get first place in the White Tiger meet. Moreover, it was after they had deprived him of the opportunity to participate in the trial. This made him even angrier and angrier because they were destined to never reconcile with Ling Xiao. How could they be happy that their enemy had gotten first place? No, I should be thanking your Black Tortoise Temple for giving me such a good opportunity to display my strength in front of so many people. The corner of Ling Xiao's mouth revealed a trace of coldness and mockery. The matter between him and the Black Tortoise Temple wasn't over yet. After the White Tiger meet ended, they would definitely become enemies. He was very clear about this. The corner of Xian Ming's mouth twitched, but he still held it in. Now wasn't the time to kill Ling Xiao. In any case, the Black Tortoise Temple had already sealed off all the exits of the myriad lightning desolate grounds. Ling Xiao couldn't escape even if he had wings. Lawless announced the results. He glanced at Lawless and sat back down. Although his heart was filled with fury, he still managed to restrain himself. Lawless sighed in his heart. Ling Xiao had actually gotten first place. This was really unexpected. All right, the White Tiger meet is over. Before the award ceremony, according to tradition, the top 10 martialists should prepare to receive a banquet at the Black Tortoise Temple. The Black Tortoise Temple had long regarded the White Tiger meet as a way to select outstanding disciples. Every year, they would invite the top 10 martialists to a banquet, including those who had already agreed to join the Black Tortoise Temple. They would also invite those who hadn't agreed to a banquet because they were fully confident that they could use both hard and soft tactics to make these people submit in the end. Then they would become disciples of the Black Tortoise Temple. However, Lawless's announcement still stunned many of the spectators. They were still reminiscing about the earth-shattering battle from before. How could it end so quickly? It's really a pity that he got first place. Then, Ling Xiao will probably get the highest reward from the Black Tortoise Temple, right? Some of them were jealous, while others envied him. As of now, Ling Xiao could already defeat second-level Life Seizers. If his cultivation base improved, then he'd be one of the best even among the Life Seizers. This guy's strength was rising too quickly. There was a kind of unpredictable feeling. Perhaps very soon, even Rebirth Realm martial artists would not be able to suppress him. Feng Fei and Tianhai Tyranny would both get excellent rewards. After all, they were in the top 3. Feng Fei actually possessed the power of heavenly Tao and grasped the gate of laws. Aside from Tianhai Tyranny and Ling Xiao, there were no other geniuses who were her match. If she grew stronger, then things would only get more troublesome. As for Tianhai Tyranny, he was a second-level Life Sizer, the strongest of all the geniuses. Even Ling Xiao couldn't compare to him. Add that to his terrifying Devil Buddha body and his water bear martial soul, and he had a limitless future ahead of him. But everyone still believed that Ling Xiao could easily crush them. Chapter 2012. In the eyes of the crowd, unless Feng Fei and Tianhai Tyranny's cultivation base improved faster than Ling Xiao's, they'd never be able to catch up to Ling Xiao in their entire lives. After all, the top-ranked cultivator would receive better and better rewards. With Ling Xiao at the top and Cold Plum, Long Chun, and Dan Feng in the top 10, the strength of the Celestial Empire was obvious. The laws of the Dragon Phoenix continent were slowly changing. In the future, the continent's cultivators would find it easier to cultivate and improve faster. All of this had been achieved by Ling Xiao's group. This was the impact on the entire continent and the entire country. Most of the participants were overjoyed. After all, entering the Battle of the Kings would earn them decent rewards. Of course, there were also those who were unhappy. Feng Fei, Tianhai Tyranny, Feng Ying, and Qingqiu Li Hu couldn't possibly be happy. Especially Tianhai Tyranny and Feng Fei. They'd participated in the White Tiger meet to reach the top. Second or third place meant nothing to them. All right, everyone go do your own things. The top 10 can follow me to the Black Tortoise Temple for the banquet, Lawless announced loudly. Lawless said in a clear voice. Of course, Ling Xiao wouldn't reject the invitation to the banquet. He had already set up a trap in the Black Tortoise Temple. If anyone from the Black Tortoise Temple wanted to harm him, he could destroy them any time. He didn't do that now because he wanted to get his hands on the rewards first. Hold it! At this moment, a thunderous roar suddenly came from the sky. Then dozens of figures flew in from the distance. All of them moved with incredible speed. At the very least, that was how the Yin-Yang realm cultivators saw them. Of the 64 figures, 36 were Rebirth realm cultivators. The rest were high-level Life Seizers. Such terrifying strength was probably more frightening than the Black Tortoise Temple and Nine Heavens Palace combined. It was precisely because of this that everyone's hearts trembled fiercely, and they looked at the 64 terrifying figures in horror. He was trying to guess who this person was, where he came from, and what he was here for. After these people appeared, they set up a formation in the sky, sealing off the escape routes of the top geniuses in the arena. A terrifying pressure was released, causing many of the spectators to involuntarily kneel on the ground, their bodies trembling in fear. What's the situation? Everyone was stunned, including Ling Xiao. No one knew why so many experts had suddenly appeared. No one knew where these people had come from or what they were here for. After all, there were 36 Rebirth Immortals, plus a few Life Seizers. Even if the Black Tortoise Temple and Nine Heavens Palace joined forces, they wouldn't have such a powerful lineup. What was going on? This was the question on everyone's mind. However, even a fool could tell that these 64 people definitely did not come with good intentions. As soon as they arrived, they surrounded the participating martial artists. Obviously, they were here for these people. Xianming was still sitting there, but his face didn't look good. The revered ones from the 13 palaces all came to stand beside him. Faced with the sudden appearance of such a powerful and mysterious group, they were all rather worried. However, from the look in Xianming's eyes, he seemed to have recognized these people. He just didn't say it out loud. "Why did you come all the way from the Black Tortoise continent?" Xianming glanced coldly at the group and asked indifferently. Although he sounded calm, his heart wasn't calm at all. If these 64 people really attacked, he couldn't stop them, and neither could the Black Tortoise Temple. Even if they joined forces with Nine Heavens Palace, they wouldn't be able to stop them. "Xianming, don't King talk nonsense. Don't you know why we're here?" A voice scolded jokingly. "Isn't the Black Tortoise Temple just a force of the Deep Earth sect? The Deep Earth sect is also in the Black Tortoise continent, and so are we. We're all here to compete for talents. Some things are meaningless if we say it out loud." When everyone heard this, they couldn't help but be stunned. The Black Tortoise Temple wasn't a native force of the White Tiger continent. Wasn't the Black Tortoise Temple a force born in the extreme lightning grounds? Wasn't it said that it had been passed down for tens of thousands of years? So it was fake. Most of the people from the 4 great empires and the righteous sect felt like they had been tricked and deceived. Although they had heard some rumors before, they didn't dare to believe it because there was no conclusive evidence. However, after listening to these people today, they all understood. This was a group of rebirth and life seizers. They basically had no reason to lie. The Black Tortoise Temple has never said that it was born in the extreme lightning grounds. We're subordinates of the Deep Earth sect, and we're also subordinates of the Linglong Palace. Xianming said very calmly, "We're here to recruit genius disciples for the Linglong Palace. So what? Do you think the geniuses won't want to?" He was right. The Linglong Palace was a big force in the Black Tortoise continent. If the White Tiger continent's cultivators could join the Linglong Palace as disciples, they wouldn't be bad. To be honest, if Ling Xiao didn't have a grudge against the Black Tortoise Temple, he wouldn't refuse such a good opportunity. "Ha ha ha, you're so straightforward. Then we'll join in the fun. There's nothing wrong with that. These people's not raised by the Black Tortoise Temple. They're geniuses. They all have their own sections. We're also from the Black Tortoise continent, and our sects aren't any weaker than the Linglong Palace. There's nothing wrong with letting them join, right?" Someone in the sky said. "Most of them have already signed the contract to join the Black Tortoise Temple." "You're too late," Xianming said coldly. "Haha, you're not late at all. Do you know why we're here? It's because we received a message saying that the Black Tortoise Temple is despicable and shameless. They want the cultivators to sign the contract to join the Black Tortoise Temple before entering the trial. If they don't sign, they'll be deprived of the opportunity to participate in the trial." That person said again, "Nonsense. Who's maliciously slandering the Black Tortoise Temple?" Xianming was furious, but his eyes were fixed on Ling Xiao. However, after thinking about it, he realized that wasn't right. Ling Xiao had been participating in the competition ever since he left the Black Tortoise Temple. There was no way he could have spread the news. "Xianming, you old dog, don't look at me. Although I didn't spread the news, it's true that you deprived me of the trial because I didn't sign the contract," Ling Xiao said coldly. He and the Black Tortoise Temple were already like fire and water. He reckoned that he might not even get the first place reward. So, why not take the opportunity to create trouble for the Black Tortoise Temple? "Ha ha ha ha, you have character. Is this little guy the first place of this year's White Tiger meet? Not bad, not bad. Xianming, did you hear that? In front of so many people, you dare to say that you didn't do it?" Chapter 2013. Xian Ming's expression was gloomy, but he couldn't do anything to Ling Xiao at this moment. Not to mention these experts who had just arrived. Even without these people, just Zhu Tianming alone was enough to stop him from killing Ling Xiao. Don't worry, our Black Tortoise Temple won't force anyone to join. If those who have signed the agreement are unwilling, they can break the agreement and we won't interfere. Xian Ming said this because he had no other choice. They were facing existences stronger than his Black Tortoise Temple. If he stubbornly refused to admit it, the result would be worse. He could only hope that there were geniuses who were willing to join his Black Tortoise Temple. Otherwise, this time's White Tiger Gathering would be a failure. Good, straightforward. Sect Master Xianming is a man of his word. Don't go back on your words. A voice came from the sky. Although the words were pleasant to the ears, they were sarcastic towards Xianming. But Xianming had no other choice. Among these newcomers, there were a few that he couldn't afford to offend. Who knows? Our Nine Heavens Palace will have to take part in this matter. Zhou Tianming said indifferently, looking at the crowd. Nine Heavens Palace. The Nine Heavens Palace that has been guarding the myriad, lightning desolate land for 100,000 years. A confused voice came from the sky. That's right, that's right. Zhou Tianming said indifferently. Ha 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 ha, what dog fart, Nine Heavens Palace. The era is different now. The mortal king has been dead for so many years. You old antiques should say goodbye to the new era. Suddenly, a burst of wild laughter came from the sky. Then a person spread out his black devil wings and attacked Zhou Tianming. It seemed like this person felt that the Linglong Palace was qualified to share talents with them, but this Nine Heavens Palace wasn't qualified. Zhou Tianming was as indifferent as before, waiting for that person's palm to arrive. He raised his hand and a sword, qi, pierced through the air. That person's palm wind whistled, shattering the sword qi, but his figure was also stopped. He suddenly stopped, looking at Zhou Tianming. This one is the Black Tortoise Continent's Black Snake Sect's elder, Mo Yank. How should I address you? Nine Heavens Palace's Palace Master, Zhou Tianming. Zhou Tianming replied indifferently. All right, my Mystic Snake sect acknowledges the strength of Nine Heavens Palace. Mo Yank had fought with Zhou Tianming because he wanted to verify Zhou Tianming's strength. If Zhou Tianming wasn't qualified, he would have killed him on the spot. Elder Xingyuan of the Seven-Star Sword Palace greets the palace, Lord of the Nine Heavens Palace. Since the old devil has already probed, then there is no need for me to make a move. Count your Nine Heavens Palace in this selection. At this moment, a man wearing a seven-star robe and standing there like a divine sword stood out and said. Behind him, the disciples of the Seven-Star Sword Palace all seemed to use swords as weapons and specialized in sword Dao. Seoul Hall Elder Han Wuqian agrees as well. An old and hoarse voice rang out. In the sky, there was a group of people who were completely wrapped in pitch-black robes. Their faces could not be seen at all. However, no one doubted their terrifying strength. Heavenly King Sect Elder Li Tianmo agrees. The last person to step out wore battle armor and exuded a tyrannical aura. This aura was very similar to tyrannical Heavenly Ocean. Perhaps this Heavenly King Sect was also a sect that specialized in tyrannical aura. The people behind him were all extremely arrogant and domineering. No one knew where they picked these talents from. These terrifying forces, each of them had the strength to contend with Linglong Palace. It did not seem impossible to destroy the four great empires of the White Tiger Continent. If not for the different martial Dao laws of the White Tiger Continent and the Black Tortoise Continent, which weakened the strength of the martial artists of the Black Tortoise Continent when they came to the White Tiger Continent, the White Tiger Continent would have already become the territory of these five great forces. Mysterious Snake Demon Sect, Seven-Star Sword Palace, Seoul Hall, Heavenly King Sect, and Linglong Palace. Goodfellow, the five great forces of the Black Tortoise Continent's western region have actually gathered in the White Tiger Continent. This is a rare sight. Nine Heaven's Dream frowned. Just now, Mo Yank was probing her, and she was also probing Mo Yank. The other party's strength was not weak. Even if it was her, she only had a 50% chance of defeating him. However, there were actually 4 of them. If the mysterious underworld being who represented Linglong Palace was included, there would be 5 of them. What was the Black Tortoise Continent trying to do? Could they not wait to invade the White Tiger Continent so soon? Mysterious underworld, let's cut the crap. With so many geniuses, if the Linglong Palace takes all of them, it would be like eating all of them alone. If things go wrong, the 5 great forces of the Black Tortoise Continent's western region will change. Once a war breaks out, it will not benefit anyone. Therefore, I advise you to listen to our suggestion and let them choose. The 5 great forces and 9 Heaven's Palace can choose who they want to join. What do you think? Hearing these people's words, the audience's hearts were fluctuating wildly. Just a moment ago, they were regretting that the White Tiger meet had ended and there was no more excitement to watch. Now, such a large group of people had suddenly arrived. Other than the 4 elders, the rest were just followers. And these followers were actually made up of rebirth realm and life-seizing realm martial artists. This gave the audience a feeling of absurdity. It was so unreal and so shocking. One had to know that rebirth realm martial artists could do whatever they wanted in the White Tiger Continent. Basically, no one could restrain them. Listening to these people's conversation, the Black Tortoise Temple was actually just a small force under the Deep Earth sect of the Black Tortoise Continent's western region's Linglong Palace. And yet, this small force was enough to rule the entire White Tiger Continent. And now, the 4 great forces were on par with the Linglong Palace. How could such a situation not shock the audience? Choose? How do we choose? Mysterious Underworld asked coldly. Although he hated these people who ruined the Linglong Palace's selection, the situation was beyond his control. If these people joined forces, he wouldn't be able to survive. He could only compromise. It's simple. Black Snake Sect, 7-Star Sword Palace, Soul Hall, Heavenly King Sect, Linglong Palace, and 9 Heavens Palace. Introduce their respective sections. The time limit is no more than 10 minutes. Then, demonstrate a classic move for these geniuses. After listening and watching, if they agree, they can choose to join their respective sections. What do you think? Mo Yank said. Obviously, they had already thought of this method on their way here. Now they were just saying it out loud. Agreed. The representatives of the 6 great forces nodded. This was very fair, and there was no coercion. It couldn't be more appropriate. Then, our Linglong Palace will go first. After all, we are the hosts of the White Tiger Storm meet. Mysterious Underworld said coldly, Don't worry, no one will fight with you. If you want to go first, go ahead. Mo Yank said with a smile. The fairness of this rule was that there wasn't much meaning in going first. At most, the first impression would be the strongest, and the others would have a reference. As long as the introduction was good and the performance was good, then the geniuses would naturally choose. Chapter 2014. Xianming looked at all the participants and said, By now, everyone should know that our Black Tortoise Temple represents Linglong Palace's power in the White Tiger Continent. Every year, the White Tiger Meet is organized by us and the 5 major forces of the White Tiger Continent. This year is no exception. Whether it's the inherited memories in Black Wind Canyon, the treasures in the Myriad Devil Graveyard, or the benefits in the training grounds, they are all the sincerity of our Linglong Palace. We have always been helping you raise your strength. This need not be said. Previously, we did use a bit of force in hopes that you would join our Linglong Palace. But that was only because we cherish talent. I hope you can forgive us. On behalf of Linglong Palace, I guarantee that as long as you join our Linglong Palace, not only will you receive generous rewards, there will also be unexpected gains. Hee hee, your words are better than a song. Whether it's the Myriad Devil Graveyard or the Black Wind Canyon, they were left behind by the original human king to the people of the profound world and are guarded by 9 Heaven Palace. You blocked us from entering and treated that place as your own private property. You think you can treat us like dogs by throwing us some bones? Ling Xiao sneered and said, to put it bluntly, your Ling Long Palace's Black Tortoise Temple took the cultivation resources of the White Tiger continent and then threw some bones after eating the meat. You think you're so great? As long as he could cause trouble for Ling Long Palace, Ling Xiao would not let it go. He was a very straightforward person. If anyone didn't give him a good time, he wouldn't give them a good time. You shut up, Xianming roared. Hee, I will shut up. After all, there are others who want to talk. Ling Xiao smiled. He had already said what he needed to say. He believed that the people present were not idiots. They should have heard and seen clearly what Ling Long Palace had done. Okay, it's my turn. Jiu Tianmeng attracted everyone's attention and said, just as Ling Xiao said, everything in the Myriad Lightning Extreme Place was left behind by the human king to the people of the profound world. It's just that our 9 Heaven Palace is guarding it. If you join our 9 Heavens Palace, you will have the opportunity to cultivate in the Myriad Lightning Desolate Ground. We will do our best to assist you. We will definitely not be as stingy and dirty as the Black Tortoise Temple. In the end, she directly looked at Ling Xiao and said, I know that you have obtained some of the inheritance of the old palace, Lord. If you are willing, our 9 Heavens Palace can make an exception and accept you as a disciple. Everyone knew that 9 Heavens Palace only accepted female disciples. If he accepted Ling Xiao, that would be an exception. Is Empyrean Palace Master done speaking? Elder Mo Yank of the Black Snake Devil Sect asked with a smile. It's over. All right, it's my turn. Mo Yank looked at the crowd and said, my Mystic Snake Devil Sect is located in the western region of the Black Tortoise Continent. Compared to the White Tiger Continent, the Black Tortoise Continent is much more powerful. In that place, life seizers were everywhere, and yin-yang experts were as numerous as the hairs on an ox. Even for rebirth realm martial artists, they possessed an extremely impressive number. Our Mystic Snake Devil Sect focuses on cultivating demonic martial arts. So my idea is very simple. Anyone who is willing or has already started cultivating demonic martial arts can join us, especially you, Ling Xiao. Mo Yank suddenly looked at Ling Xiao and said, I've seen your heavenly demon incarnation. Although it is very powerful, it lacks a systematic cultivation. As long as you join our Mystic Snake Devil Sect, under our nurturing, you won't have to suffer in the White Tiger Continent. You can definitely shine in the Black Tortoise Continent. Amaze the world with a single brilliant feat. Also, if you are willing, you can immediately become a core disciple of our Mystic Snake Devil Sect. I, Mo Yank, can guarantee you this. Others are the same. For example, Tyranny Heavenly Seas, you also practice demonic martial arts. If you join our mysterious Snake Demon Sect, just like Ling Xiao, you will obtain the qualifications to become a core disciple. From then on, you will soar to the heavens. Hearing Mo Yank's words, the eyes of the audience turned red, envious. With such good conditions, if it were them, they would probably join like crazy. Ling Xiao, Tianhai Tyranny, their luck was really good. About 10 minutes, Mo Yank, the 7-star Sword Palace's disciple, coldly said, There's one last thing. Mo Yank looked at Ling Xiao and said, As long as you are willing to join our Mystic Snake Devil Sect, no one will dare to bully you and your friends. We can guarantee their safety. The temptation of these words was too great. For Ling Xiao, who was worried that Black Tortoise Temple would settle accounts later, this was the most direct benefit. Not only can your Mystic Snake Devil Sect do this, our 7-star Sword Palace can do it too. Xing Yuan glanced at Ling Xiao and said, You actually cultivated your sword intent to the third stage of large success. This really surprised me. Moreover, your Scarlet Sun sword art was comprehended from General Scarlet Sword's inherited memories, but it is stronger than others. This shows that your comprehension of Sword Dao is excellent. I don't think I need to say it. You should also know that if you join our 7-star Sword Palace, the benefits we give you won't be less than any other sect. Moreover, if you want to have achievements in Sword Dao, you can't do without the guidance of a true sword master. Think about it carefully. Finished speaking, Xing Yuan looked at Lu Lian and Dan Feng again and said, "The two of your sword techniques are also very good. If you are willing, my 7-star Sword Palace will open its doors to you." Speaking of which, this 7-star Sword Palace was also smart. They had probably already investigated Ling Zhao's information and knew that Lu Lian and Dan Feng had a very good relationship with Ling Zhao. That was why they wanted to recruit these two people. Of course, these two people's attainments in Sword Dao were indeed outstanding. There was no need to doubt this. For martial artists who cultivated Sword Dao, this 7-star Sword Palace's attraction was too great. 7-star Sword Palaces, Xing Yuan finished speaking. Soul Hall's Han Wuqian spoke up, his gaze still on Ling Zhao. Ling Zhao, your soul force is incomparably strong. If you join our Soul Hall, your future prospects will be limitless. As for the conditions of joining, you can state them as you wish. As long as we can accept them, we'll accept them. Then he looked at Feng Fei and said, "Feng Fei, your heavenly Dao energy and gate of laws are, frankly speaking, the manifestation of soul force. If you want to improve in this area, you have to rely on our Soul Hall. And you, Zue Linglong, your soul force is also very strong. With a bit of guidance, you'll be able to make great progress." Only the Heavenly King sect was left. Li Tianmo almost immediately looked at Ling Zhao and said, "You have a domineering aura which coincides with our Heavenly King sect's martial arts. Our Heavenly King sect is definitely the most suitable choice for you. There's also Tianhai tyrannical ambition and Phoenix shadow. One of you has the Devil King's domineering aura, while the other has overwhelming righteousness. Both of you are the most welcomed martial artists of our Heavenly King sect. If you want to be a king, you have to join our Heavenly King sect." Chapter 2015. It could be said that other than the Linglong Palace who had a grudge against Ling Zhao, the other 5 forces were all eager to recruit Ling Zhao. The one they were most eager to recruit was Ling Zhao. However, there was only one Ling Zhao after all. Therefore, considering the possibility of failure, they set their sights on other martial artists. One had to know that Ling Zhao had the Sky Tyrant martial soul, which coincided with the Heavenly King sect. He had a strong soul power, which was very compatible with the Soul Hall. He cultivated the Sword Dao, which was very compatible with the 7-star Sword Palace. There was also his terrifying heavenly demon incarnation, which had no conflict with the mystic snake demon sect. As for the 9 Heaven Palace, he had obtained the demonic mirror martial soul and the hell sword technique from the old palace master of the 9 Heaven Palace. There was no problem in joining the 9 Heaven Palace. In fact, Linglong Palace was also willing to take Ling Zhao in. It was just that there was a grudge between them and Ling Zhao, and it was a grudge that could not be mended. Thus, they understood that Ling Zhao would not follow them. Otherwise, how could they let go of a top genius like Ling Zhao so easily? After the 6 forces finished their introductions, the Linglong Palace's Xian Ming displayed a terrifying martial skill. This set off another wave of excitement, causing everyone to be extremely excited. After all, it was very rare to see a rebirth realm expert displaying his moves. After the 6 forces finished their introductions, the next choice was up to the geniuses. In fact, it was a 2-way choice. The sects could choose the geniuses they wanted, and the geniuses could choose the sects they liked. If the other forces in the Black Tortoise Continent's western region did not participate, these geniuses would not have such a good opportunity. Next, it was up to both sides to decide. In the mystic world, a martial artist could join many sections. After all, a martial artist had to experience a lot from the beginning to the end. The sect that he joined at the beginning might not be able to adapt to his growth. Therefore, this was not a problem. No one would think of it as betrayal. As long as he did not join another sect to humiliate his original sect, there would be no problem. For example, Ling Xiao had joined the Ling family, the army, and finally the Yuehua school. This was a process of moving up step by step. It had nothing to do with loyalty or betrayal. However, the geniuses were still worried that the Black Tortoise Temple would harm their own forces or their original sections. After all, if they left with someone else, it would be very difficult for them to interfere with whatever happened to the White Tiger continent. You don't have to worry about the Black Tortoise Divine Palace playing any tricks. The Ling Long Palace has the Black Tortoise Divine Palace in the White Tiger continent, and so do we. As long as you are willing to join our forces, your original forces and sects will be protected by us. If the Black Tortoise Temple dares to act recklessly, it's tantamount to starting a war with the Western region. Mo Yank reminded him. Hearing this, the group of geniuses finally heaved a sigh of relief. Without any worries, what was there to worry about? Dan Feng, Lu Lian, if you're willing, then follow the 7-star Sword Palace. They can undoubtedly improve your sword Dao. Ling Xiao looked at Dan Feng and Lu Lian. It was an honor for the two of them to be invited by the 7-star Sword Palace. If they could join, it would be beneficial to their future development. After all, Ling Xiao was not their master. It was impossible for him to always help them improve their strength. That was also unrealistic. Brother Ling, Big Brother Ling. The two of them actually really wanted to go, but because of Ling Xiao, as long as they went to the 7-star Sword Palace, it was very likely that they would not be able to help Ling Xiao do things for a very long time in the future. Therefore, they did not speak up and were hesitating. But Ling Xiao's one sentence made them put down the burden in their hearts. Go then. Seeking your own path of martial Dao is the first step that every martial artist should take. You guys have a good future. Then I can also be at ease. Ling Xiao said with a smile. I understand. I, Dan Feng, am willing to join the 7-star Sword Palace. I understand too. I, Lu Lian, am willing to join the 7-star Sword Palace. Very good. The 7-star Sword Palace welcomes you. Star Wish not only wanted Dan Feng and Lu Lian because of Ling Xiao, but the key was that it took a fancy to these two people's talents. Therefore, hearing that the two were willing to join, it was also very happy. Ling Xiao, you really don't want to join our 7-star Sword Palace? In the end, what Star Wish hoped to obtain the most was still Ling Xiao. After all, a sword path genius like Ling Xiao was really too hard to find. I'll think about it again, Ling Xiao said with a smile. To be honest, Ling Xiao had too many choices right now and was instead somewhat in a dilemma. One had to know that apart from Ling Long Palace, he definitely would not go. The other forces had no enmity with him and were also beneficial to him. He really wanted to go and give it a try. But as for where to go, he could not make up his mind for a while. This was truly a happy worry. All right then. Star Wish did not force Ling Xiao. He was very clear that this kind of genius could not be forced. They more or less knew a little about the things that happened between Ling Xiao and the Black Tortoise Divine Palace. Towards Ling Xiao, they still did not want to easily offend him right now. After all, this kid was too difficult to deal with. If they wanted to kill him, they had to ensure that they killed him. Otherwise, if they couldn't kill him, it would become a huge problem. If they wanted to subdue him, they had to subdue him without offending or forcing him. Otherwise, even if they took away Ling Xiao's body, they would not be able to take away his heart. In the future, it might cause a big problem. Can I ask a question? Ling Xiao suddenly spoke. As soon as he spoke, everyone looked at him. After all, the major forces here were basically here for him. Speak. In fact, it's very simple. You all came here to compete for talents. I'm afraid it's not on a whim, right? It should be because of something that made you all so eager to get a batch of emerging geniuses. The geniuses of the Black Tortoise Continent's western region have already been divided up by you. But you still feel that it's not enough and want to come to the White Tiger Continent, right? Ling Xiao looked at everyone and asked. If he wanted to join a sect, he had to first figure out the reason. Otherwise, he would not make a decision so easily. This question is actually very simple. In order to strengthen our strength. This is a must, Mo Yang said. The others also nodded. However, Ling Xiao frowned slightly. He was very clear that these people were lying. The purpose of being in such a hurry to recruit disciples should not be as simple as strengthening their strength. Perhaps there were other reasons, but because this reason was considered a secret, those who were not from their sect had no right to know. Ling Xiao smiled. He already had a plan in his heart. Although joining these sects might not be too dangerous, he would not do things that he was not confident of. He liked to control everything in his own hands. Moreover, although he did not say it out loud, in his heart he had already made the Ninth Heaven Palace his choice. If it were not for the Ninth Heaven Dew, the Ninth Heaven Dream, and the old Palace Master, not only would he, Ling Xiao, not be as powerful as he was now, but he might even lose his life. One had to learn to repay kindness. Chapter 2016. Perhaps Nine Heaven Palace wasn't as strong as the 5 great powers of the Black Tortoise Continent, but he would never forget their kindness. Moreover, Ling Xiao always felt that there were mysteries waiting to be discovered in the extreme lightning grounds. As long as he joined Nine Heaven Palace, he might be able to uncover those mysteries and obtain greater benefits. Everyone, I've made my choice. The old palace, Lord of the Nine Heavens Palace, saved my life and can be considered half a master to me. I'm sorry, but I choose the Nine Heavens Palace, not to become a disciple. What does the Nine Heavens Dream Palace think? Ling Xiao looked at Nine Heaven Dream and asked. If Nine Heaven Dream could agree to let him not be bound by Nine Heaven Palace, he would make his decision. Of course, no problem. Jiao Tianmeng was extremely happy. He was also very surprised. In the face of so many tempting conditions, Ling Xiao actually chose Nine Heaven Palace. Those conditions weren't something that Nine Heaven Palace could offer, especially now that Nine Heaven Palace wasn't as strong as before. They had no advantage against the 5 great powers of the Black Tortoise Continent. Even their only advantage, the extreme lightning grounds, was occupied by the Black Tortoise Sacred Hall. Ling Xiao choosing them was unexpected and a pleasant surprise. Nine Heaven Dream would welcome him no matter what. To be honest, even if he had to hand over his position to Ling Xiao, it wouldn't matter. Forget it. Since you have such thoughts, we won't force you. Everyone has their own ambitions. Mo Yang sighed, but clearly he was still a little unwilling in his heart. The other powers were the same. Perhaps the only one happy was Linglong Palace's Xianming. If Ling Xiao didn't join any of the 5 great powers of the western regions and chose Nine Heaven Palace, it wouldn't break the balance. Fei, Linglong, you too should join Soul Hall. It'll be more beneficial for your future development. Taoist One Eyebrow of the Genie sect said to his 2 disciples after a moment of thought. Understood. Zui Linglong nodded and said, Since Sect Master has spoken, Zui Linglong is willing to join Soul Hall. Joining Soul Palace was clearly the most beneficial for her. She wouldn't miss this opportunity. Feng Fei gave Taoist One Brow a playful look. Although the Zhengyi sect couldn't compare to the 5 great powers of the Black Tortoise Continent's western regions, it didn't pale in comparison to the Black Tortoise Temple and Nine Heavens Palace. Taoist Ime probably didn't just want her to properly cultivate in Soul Palace. There was probably another layer of meaning behind this, just like how he wanted her to infiltrate the Fan family in the past. However, this was exactly what she wanted. I, Feng Fei, am willing to join Soul Hall. She finally made her decision. All right, welcome. Han Wuqian was very happy. Although he was a little disappointed that he couldn't get Ling Xiao, he'd gotten Feng Fei and drunken Linglong. Phoenix Shadow, you should go to the Heavenly King sect. Your nature energy will be greatly enhanced there. Taoist, one eyebrow glanced at Feng Ying and said, Understood. Tyranny, you should go to the mysterious Snake Demon sect. That place is more beneficial for your cultivation. The Tianhai King said after some thought. I was thinking the same thing. Although Tianhai Tyranny had the aura of a devil king and was suited to go to the Heavenly King sect, he was more interested in the martial arts of the Devil Dao. The mysterious Snake Demon sect was definitely the best place for him to go. As a result, the four powers that had suddenly appeared all had the disciples they needed. Tianhai Tyranny, Feng Fei, Phoenix Shadow, Drunken Linglong, and even Dan Feng and Lu Lian all had places to go. The mysterious Snake Demon sect had also invited Cold Plum, but Cold Plum refused. She clearly didn't want to leave Ling Xiao. The Heavenly King sect had also invited Long Qin. After all, he was a true member of the Dragon Clan. His dragon aura was very compatible with the Heavenly King sect's aura. But Long Chen refused as well. He didn't want to leave Ling Xiao's side either. Everyone had their own choices, so Ling Xiao didn't force them. Truthfully speaking, these two's talents were second only to his own. He really didn't want them to leave. Although my Heavenly King sect prefers people with the aura of a king and a domineering aura, will definitely welcome anyone in the top 20. Compared to the other powers, the Heavenly King sect didn't have such strict requirements for their disciples. The mysterious Snake Demon sect only cultivated the Devil Dao. The Seven-Star Sword Palace only cultivated the Sword Dao. The Soul Hall only cultivated the Soul Dao. These three powers were very particular when it came to choosing disciples. With the Heavenly King sect's words, the Heavenly Wolf Gentleman and Silver Wolf Princess both announced their participation. Jun Maching and Jun Macho joined the Linglong Palace or Black Tortoise Temple. It was hard for Xianming to be satisfied with just these two people. Since quality wasn't good enough, they might as well start with quantity. Thus, they relaxed their requirements. As long as they advanced to the Battle of the Kings, they would accept all of them. Although this was a bit shameful, there was no other way. A peach that was about to ripen had been picked by someone else. His heart was filled with resentment, but what else could he do? He could only blame the Black Tortoise Temple for being too despicable. Many top geniuses didn't have a good impression of them. After all, the more talented a person was, the more personality they had. When you forced them, they would already hate you. It was just that they didn't express it. Ha ha ha! Congratulations to the Linglong Palace for accepting so many good disciples. See you in the future. Mo Yank laughed heartily and left with the mysterious Snake Demon sect's disciples. He said he was congratulating them, but he was obviously mocking Xianming. The other three powers also left with the genius disciples they chose. They came in a hurry and left very quickly. However, none of the powers returned empty-handed. Although they didn't get Ling Xiao, who they wanted the most, it was still not bad. As for the final reward of the white tiger meat, it was obvious that those who joined other sects wouldn't get it. After all, the reward was given by the Black Tortoise Temple. If they didn't join the Black Tortoise Temple, they wouldn't get it. However, they didn't care. They believed that the sects they joined would give them the same compensation. Ling Xiao, are you sure you don't want to join my Linglong Palace? As long as you are willing to join, we can disregard our previous enmity and give you the best conditions. If you don't join, then you won't get the first place reward of the white tiger meat. Xianming watched those people leave and then looked back at the scene. He actually had the idea of subduing Ling Xiao. If he could get Ling Xiao to join, then the loss wouldn't be considered a loss. I'm sorry, I won't join any power. I only went to the Nine Heaven Palace because I owed someone a favor. As for your Linglong Palace, I'm a very vengeful person. Unless you kill that venerable Mo Fong and apologize to me in front of everyone, I can consider disregarding our past enmity. Perhaps I'll even let my friends join you. Chapter 2017. That's impossible. Xianming hesitated for a moment before shaking his head. What kind of joke was this? It would have been fine if it was done in private, but how could he do it in front of so many people? Let's go. With a wave of his sleeve, he turned around and left with the disciples he had recruited. Before leaving, he threw a sentence at Ling Xiao. You will regret this. Ling Xiao didn't reply, only smiling faintly. He, Ling Xiao, would never regret what he had done. Even if he died because of it, it was his own choice. What was there to regret? He looked at Zhou Tianming and said, Palace Master, can you take in a few of my friends to cultivate in Zhou Palace? Of course. Out of so many people, only Ling Xiao was willing to choose Zhou Palace. To Zhou Tianming, Ling Xiao had given them so much space, so what if they took in a few more people? Moreover, Ling Xiao's friends weren't bad either. Although Zhou Palace had only accepted female disciples before the situation had changed. Zhou Palace had declined. And if they wanted to compete with the forces of Black Tortoise Continent, they had to change this stubborn and old-fashioned way of thinking. Accepting both male and female disciples could be considered her first try. Let's go, Ling Xiao. You can rest assured that whatever reward Black Tortoise Temple can give you, Zhou Palace will do our best to satisfy. Cold Plum, Long Chin, Blue Snow, and Hong Yu will do the same. Zhou Tianming was in a good mood. Zhou Palace had re-entered the world and could recruit so many people. It was really a great fortune. In the land of lightning, Juma Sword and the others were already waiting there. Ling Xiao had used Song Jing family's temple as a foundation to set up a teleportation array to the land of lightning. It was to avoid being hunted down by Black Tortoise Temple. As long as they hid in the land of lightning, it would be very difficult for Black Tortoise Temple to find them. With the help of the myriad lightning immortal slaying array, Ling Xiao wasn't afraid of Black Tortoise Temple's people. Of course, the situation had changed. The appearance of Nine Heavens Palace had changed Ling Xiao's original plan. He hoped that Ji Luoyu and the others could also enter the Nine Heavens Palace to cultivate. Although Ji Luoyu and Feng Minglian's aptitudes were not as good as Long Chen's, they were better than most martial artists. They deserved better opportunities to cultivate. As for Mou and Zhu Xiaocong, their aptitudes might be even worse than Ji Luoyu and Feng Minglian. However, he was still considered a genius. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made it into the list of finalists for the White Tiger meet. The Nine Heavens Palace was still very welcoming towards them. After handing these people over to Ling Xiao, Hong Qi bid farewell to the Liquor Demon Sword. Their target was the Black Tortoise Continent. They were going to investigate the true purpose of the 5 great powers of the Western region. This was also what Ling Xiao wanted to know. With these two together, Ling Xiao was at ease. Hong Qi's cultivation had almost recovered to the rebirth realm, and the Liquor Demon Sword was definitely one of the best among the rebirth realm martial artists. At the very least, he was not inferior to the elders of the 5 great powers. They were qualified to go to the Black Tortoise Continent. After separating, Ling Xiao and the others stepped into a dreamlike space and arrived at the Nine Heavens Palace. What surprised Ling Xiao was that the Nine Heavens Palace was actually an independent space. It was almost completely isolated from the outside world. One could only enter and exit through a transmission array. This was also the reason why the Black Tortoise Temple scheme did not cause the Nine Heavens Palace to fall. However, after arriving at the Nine Heavens Palace, Ling Xiao realized how miserable it was. This is our current situation. In the previous incident, our Nine Heavens Palace suffered heavy losses. We only have a total of 11 people left. Sai, now you understand. I'm really thirsty for talent. If you join the Nine Heavens Palace, you will receive the best martial arts and guidance. 9 heavens do, and I will personally guide your cultivation. 9 heavens dream looked at Ling Xiao and the others and couldn't help but shake her head with a bitter smile. It looks like we've bet on the right treasure. Ling Xiao wasn't mocking himself, but thinking from the bottom of his heart. In comparison, the Black Tortoise continent had many disciples from the 5 great powers, and more than enough genius disciples. After those geniuses joined, they would receive benefits, but not as much as they did, nor would they have as much freedom as they did. 9 heavens dream didn't put on any airs in front of Ling Xiao. She really did treat Ling Xiao as a friend. She was even considering giving the position of 9 heavens palace head to Ling Xiao. She probably knew in her heart that as long as a genius like Ling Xiao didn't die, he would become an existence that everyone in the profound world looked up to in the future. She or Xianming would widen the gap between them and this terrifying genius. She had seen Ling Xiao's battles with the other geniuses. Even compared to Feng Fei and Tianhai tyranny, Ling Xiao was clearly on a higher level. Everyone sit down. There's no need to be polite. Our 9 heavens palace can only be considered a small sect now. There are only so many of us, and there aren't many rules to speak of. In the future, when 9 heavens palace rises again, you will all be elders. 9 heavens dream wasn't just polite to Ling Xiao, but to Ling Xiao's friends as well. She knew that Ling Xiao was a sentimental person, but while she was being polite, the others were still a little reserved. Although 9 heavens palace only had 11 people left, 5 of them were rebirth realm experts. The rest were life seizers who were much stronger than them. But Ling Xiao wasn't so reserved. His cultivation base couldn't compare to the others, but his mentality wasn't inferior. He knew that in the future, he would be even stronger than these people. And it wouldn't be for long. Seeing Ling Xiao sit down, Cold Plum, Long Chen, and the others slowly sat as well. Still, they felt a little uneasy. 9 heavens dream smiled. To tell the truth, I should be thanking you all for choosing 9 heavens palace. Even after knowing the truth, you still didn't give up on your original idea. Ling Xiao, can you tell us about the story between you and the old palace head? Ling Xiao nodded. There was nothing to hide, so he chose the important points to explain. I never thought that the old palace head would give you the remnants of his cultivation base. It looks like you're worthy of being half a disciple. After hearing Ling Xiao's words, 9 heavens dream saw the purity in Ling Xiao's eyes. There was no trace of a lie, so she was willing to believe it. Thus she said solemnly, I once made a grave mistake that caused the old palace head to fall into such a state. Today, I will give you the position of palace head of 9 heavens palace. Absolutely not. Ling Xiao shook his head. You don't like the position? 9 heavens dream frowned. To tell you the truth, I'm the celestial emperor of heaven. In the future, the White Tiger continent will belong to the celestial empire. I have great ambitions, and I want to rebuild the sacred dynasty of myriad races. In the future, I want to unify the profound world. If you really want to give me the position of palace head, then I suggest you take 9 heavens palace with you to the celestial empire and become a part of us. In the future, if the celestial empire agrees to take over the White Tiger continent, 9 heavens palace will become the holy land of the White Tiger continent. Ling Xiao hesitated for a moment, then spoke his true thoughts. Chapter 2018. It had to be said that Ling Xiao's ambition was too big, to the point that even Jiu Tianmeng was shocked. But after a while she nodded and said, as long as we can protect 9 heavens palace, that's not a problem. Haha, palace lord, you might not think much of it, but it doesn't matter. You'll know in the future that I'm not just a braggart. The main problem at hand was to remove the nail that was the Black Tortoise sacred hull. Only by pulling out this nail will the White Tiger continent gradually come under our control. Ling Xiao smiled and didn't continue the previous topic. He knew that Jiu Tianmeng was expressing her sincerity. If he became the palace lord, he and his friends could learn all the martial arts of Nine Heavens Palace. This sincerity was something that none of the 5 great powers of the Black Turtle Continent could do. This choice of Ling Xiao's was really a huge advantage. Such a reward was 100 times better than the White Tiger Meat's first-place reward. What could Ling Xiao be dissatisfied with? To tell you the truth, I had the same idea, but Black Turtle Temple isn't as simple as you think. Zhu Tianmeng reminded him, besides the 13 palaces, Venerable's Black Turtle Temple has a large number of life seizers, especially the 3 geniuses that were recruited 10 years ago through the White Tiger Meat. They're only in their 30s now. One of them might not be as strong as the Wine Demon Sword, but he's already a rebirth realm cultivator. As for the other 2, one is at 15-fold life seizing. The other is at 9-fold life seizing. None of them are something you can handle right now. The last time you caused trouble in Black Turtle Temple, those 3 didn't show up because they were in seclusion. But I'm sure that when they come out, they'll come looking for trouble. In recent years, Nine Heavens Palace hadn't made any big moves, but they had been secretly collecting information about Black Turtle Temple. They were preparing to drive Black Turtle Temple out of the myriad lightning desolate grounds and the White Tiger Continent. What are their names? Ling Xiao knew that he wasn't a match for the 13 palaces' rebirth realm cultivators, so the best way to deal with Black Turtle Temple was to start with those geniuses. The person ranked first is believed to be Xianming's successor. When Xianming leaves the White Tiger Continent in the future, he will become the Black Tortoise Temple's sovereign. Therefore, in the Black Tortoise Temple, he did not have a name. He was directly addressed as Your Highness, which meant that he was second only to the sect master. As time passed, his real name was gradually forgotten by others. This person's personality was domineering and frivolous, but it was different from Heavenly Sea Tyranny's direct actions. His domineering didn't rely on his personality, but on his actions. He had done many things that even Xianming thought he had gone too far, but he couldn't do anything about it. It seems like even Xianming is somewhat afraid of him. Your Highness! Ling Xiao remembered this name, as well as this person. This person should be a martial artist from the same era as the Wine Demon Sword. Back then, he hadn't been able to defeat the Wine Demon Sword and had been the second place of the White Tiger Storm Meet. As for the other 2, one is called Qin Yu, and the other is called Song Mofeng. You should have seen someone called Lin Yuan before. That Lin Yuan is Qin Yu's lackey. Zhu Tiandream introduced, we have no way of obtaining their detailed information. The Black Tortoise Temple's management is very strict. They definitely won't allow this information to be leaked. All right, I understand. How about this? I will stay in Nine Heaven Palace for a while. On one hand, I want to get a feel of this Black Tortoise Temple. On the other hand, I want to bring in the talented disciples of the Heavenly Dynasty Empire to cultivate in Nine Heaven Palace. What do you think? It had to be said that as the Heavenly Emperor of the Heavenly Dynasty Empire, Ling Xiao really had a big heart. For him, increasing one's cultivation alone wasn't enough. Only by increasing the strength of the Heavenly Dynasty Empire's martial artists could he do more. That's not a problem. We welcome them. Nine Heaven Palace currently needed a large number of disciples to expand their strength. Thus, this method was like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. How could Zhu Tiandream not agree? All right, then we'll plan a path for them to come here. We have to hide it from the Black Tortoise Temple. Otherwise, there will be endless trouble. Ling Xiao saw that Zhu Tiandream was willing to accept his suggestions one by one and was quite happy. Cooperating with such a person was really the wisest choice. All right, but before that, I'll bring you to see the martial arts secret realm of Nine Heaven Palace. This is the reward you deserve. Zhu Tiandream stood up and said, All right, then many thanks, Palace Master. Ling Xiao wasn't in a hurry to obtain the martial arts secret manual. He had obtained so many inheritances and comprehended so many profound battle techniques. To him, the martial arts secret manual wasn't something he was in a hurry to obtain. But since Ju Tiandream said so, he still had to go. Who knows? There might be a way for him to strengthen his current martial arts in Nine Heaven Palace. Moreover, he wasn't in a hurry, but Cold Plum, Long Chin, and the others were in a hurry. After all, not everyone was like him and obtained the memories of the palace master. Following Ju Tiandream, the group arrived at an independent space protected by a formation. In this huge independent space, there were many towering bookshelves. On the bookshelves, there were densely packed ancient books. In the space, there was a person cleaning up. This person was probably the oldest existence in Nine Heaven Palace. Her hair was white, and it was unknown how long she had lived. Her eyes were filled with vigilance and anticipation. Aunt Fong, these are the hopes of our Nine Heaven Palace, rising again. This guy called Ling Xiao not only obtained part of the inheritance of the human king, he can also be considered half a disciple of the palace master. His talent is amazing. This time, he won first place in the White Tiger meet. Ju Tiandream bowed respectfully to the old woman. And I can see that. You guys do as you please. I'll go over there and clean up. Aunt Fong looked at Ling Xiao indifferently, nodded slightly, and then turned to leave. Ling Xiao turned around and looked at the ancient books on the bookshelves. With his Tai Chi eye, he instantly saw the contents of these books. It was not a big deal when he looked, but he was really shocked. The worst was actually a Jade grade martial art. One had to know that Jade grade martial arts were the top martial arts on the Dragon Phoenix continent. It was really infuriating to compare oneself to others. Fortunately, he had made the right choice, and in exchange, everyone improved together. Ling Xiao, according to the rules of Nine Heaven Palace, martial artists who are qualified to look at Jade grade martial arts have to be at least at the 15th level of the Yin-Yang realm. Martial artists who are qualified to look at Jade grade martial arts have to be at least in the life-seizing realm. But this time I'll make an exception. As long as you're in the Yin-Yang realm, you're qualified to look at Jade grade martial arts. Above the 10th level of the Yin-Yang realm, you're qualified to look at Jade grade martial arts. Chapter 2019. Ju Tianming looked at Ling Xiao and said, "As for you, I believe in your innate talent and comprehension. Feel free to browse through any of the martial arts here. But you also know that every level of martial arts requires a corresponding cultivation base to be able to truly cultivate. If you can't reach that level, you'll harm your body instead. You know this, right?" As soon as Ju Tianming finished speaking, before Ling Xiao could say anything, the others couldn't help but exclaim. This exception was simply too important. One had to know that a Jade grade elementary martial technique was enough for a Yin-Yang realm martial artist to cultivate. In the Dragon Phoenix continent, if one wanted to obtain such a martial art, unless one was a top-notch genius martial artist, there was no other way. But here, you only needed to reach the Yin-Yang realm, even if it was just the beginning. Once you reached the 10th level of Yin-Yang, you could cultivate mid-Jade level martial arts. It was like a dream. One had to know that the martial artist, ranked 3rd in the White Tiger Store meet, had only received a mid-Jade grade martial art as a reward. In other words, all of them had the same results as Feng Fei. How could they not be happy? If they went to other sects, who would have the chance? Of course. Ling Xiao's luck was even better. Ju Tianming had given him the highest authority to choose any martial arts from Nine Heaven Palace. The best martial arts in Nine Heaven's Palace were Jade grade martial arts. This was a martial art that even Rebirth realm martial artists could cultivate. In other words, even if they didn't go anywhere else, they could still cultivate to the Rebirth realm just by staying in the Nine Heaven Palace. This was truly a fortunate thing. Everyone chose their own martial arts. The first room in this isolated space had Jade level martial arts. The second room had mid-Jade level martial arts. Ling Xiao went straight to the third room, where all the high Jade level martial arts were stored. He ignored the dazzling array of martial arts. After all, he had plenty of offensive, defensive, and movement skills. In the end, he chose 3 secret manuals that weren't martial arts or cultivation methods. The first was to strengthen his light profound. The second was to strengthen his shadow profound. The third was to strengthen his sword intent. They were all high-grade, Jade-grade manuals, which were very important to him. After the White Tiger Tempest meet, he had also experienced the suppression of profundities on his opponents, as well as the great benefits of having a powerful sword intent. Right now, these were the most important things to him. As for the improvement of his cultivation base, he could rely on the continuous strengthening of the light-shadow profound meaning. There was no need for him to look for secret martial arts manuals. Even though he had a high level of comprehension and talent, he didn't want to be overly distracted. You know your limits. No wonder you were able to attain your current glory. If it was someone else, that person would probably wish for nothing more than to empty out all the martial technique manuals here, right? Jiu Tianmeng was also full of admiration for Ling Xiao. Palace Lord, you flatter me. I'm just someone who doesn't want to waste time. Ling Xiao said with a smile. After obtaining the 3 martial arts manuals, Ling Xiao did not waste any time. He began cultivating with his friends in the secret cultivation area of Nine Heaven Palace. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. It was almost the end of the year. Ling Xiao thought that during the new year he could go home and take a look. At the same time, he could choose some genius cultivators to come to Nine Heaven Palace to study. Therefore, after coming out of seclusion, he proposed this idea to Jiu Tianmeng. Although Jiu Tianmeng agreed, she was still worried about the safety of the journey. She wanted Jiu Tiandu to escort him. Ling Xiao did not refuse. Jiu Tiandu's strength was not inferior to Xianming. With her escort, there would be a lot less trouble. However, it was at this time that someone suddenly came in to report. Palace Lord Black Tortoise Temple's Song Mofeng brought people here to challenge, saying that he wants to fight with Ling Xiao, asking Ling Xiao to release Xianfeng. Song Mofeng, one of the 3 strongest geniuses of Black Tortoise Temple? Ling Xiao said with a frown. If this Song Mofeng had not come, he would have almost forgotten about Xianfeng. Xianfeng had always been locked up in the most secretive place. It was so that he could leave the extreme lightning place. This Song Mofeng actually came to ask for him. I'll go see him. Ling Xiao really wanted to see what this genius from Black Tortoise Temple was like, and how strong he was. Be careful, Ling Xiao, Jiu Tianmeng warned. Song Mofeng just broke through half a month ago. He's in the 10th level of life seizing. I'm afraid you're not a match for him. Jiu Tianmeng warned. Don't worry, Empress, Yang Qi said. I wouldn't joke around with my life. If there's any trouble, I'll avoid it. I'm not a stubborn person. With that, Ling Xiao stepped out of Nine Heavens Palace. Then he went to the place where Song Mofeng had challenged him. Obviously, Song Mofeng didn't know the exact location of Nine Heavens Palace. The place he was in was one of the outposts of Nine Heavens Palace, which had long since been abandoned. Song Mofeng wore a water blue robe, and his hair was the same color. Most likely, it wasn't a natural color, but rather a result of some magical treasure or martial soul. You're Ling Xiao? Song Mofeng asked, looking down coldly at Ling Xiao. That's right. You're Song Mofeng? Ling Xiao didn't want to look up at anyone, so he flew up into the air to meet Song Mofeng's gaze. That's right. Since you're Ling Xiao, let's make a gentleman's agreement. We'll fight to determine the victor. If I win, you hand over Xianfeng, and Black Tortoise Temple won't make things difficult for you. What do you say? Song Mofeng frowned. Clearly, he didn't like Ling Xiao's disrespect. And if you lose? Ling Xiao asked. I won't lose. Song Mofing was very confident, or perhaps conceited. What if? Ling Xiao said with a smile, "If I lose, I'll give you a high-grade, jade-ranked martial art. What do you say?" Song Mofing said to Ling Xiao, as if he was giving alms to a beggar. Unfortunately, Ling Xiao had long lost interest in high-grade, jade-ranked martial arts. He looked coldly at Song Mofing and said, "If you don't have sincerity, don't talk about people. If you lose, you'll have to at least give me an immortal grade spiritual or have your Black Tortoise Temple's martial artists withdraw from Black Wind Canyon and Myriad Devil Graveyard. You're really asking for too much." Song Mofing said coldly, "Since you don't think you'll lose, why do you care about what I ask for? Or should I say, you don't have the authority to promise me?" Ling Xiao said sarcastically, "Promise him." Suddenly, a mysterious voice came from afar. Ling Xiao felt that this voice was very unfamiliar, as if he had never heard it before. But this voice gave him a lot of pressure. "Yes, Your Highness," Song Mofing said respectfully to the voice. "Your Highness." So this was the Black Tortoise Temple's #1 Highness. No wonder. It was said that this person had done many things that exceeded his authority. Even Xian Ming didn't dare to offend him. Or it could be said that Xian Ming was deliberately cultivating this highness, giving him unlimited privileges and deliberately not caring about him. Chapter 2020. No matter which possibility it was, His Highness had to be dealt with carefully. He was much harder to deal with than Song Mofing. "Ling Xiao, I advise you to hand over young Master Xianfeng as soon as possible. If you fight with Senior Brother Song, it means that you are opposing His Highness, his enemy. And His Highness's forces are not only in Black Tortoise Temple, but also in the White Tiger Continent's 5 great forces. If you want to die, then go against him." Standing behind Song Mofing were many Black Tortoise Temple martial artists. One of them was Lin Yuan, who had tried to kill Ling Xiao in Black Tortoise Temple. Lin Yuan was both shocked and terrified that Ling Xiao had taken first place in the White Tiger Gathering. However, with Song Mofing and His Highness behind him, he naturally had the confidence to do so. Ling Xiao originally thought that His Highness was only strong, but now he understood that this guy was not to be underestimated. Not only was he strong, but he also had great ambitions. This guy actually had people in the 4 great empires and Jingyi school. It seemed that his actions were even more arrogant than profound underworld. This seemingly impossible thing had actually happened to His Highness. Compared to His Highness, Heavenly Sea Tyranny was not even worth mentioning. Who knew what this guy had done to make the 4 great empires and Jingyi school's martial artists respect and be loyal to him? However, one thing was certain. This guy's strength was absolutely tyrannical. In addition, he had done certain things to continuously accumulate prestige. For example, Song Mofing challenging Ling Xiao today was probably a way for His Highness to establish his prestige. Ling Xiao smiled coldly. "You want to establish prestige with me? No matter who you are wrong." He had to defeat Song Mofing. This was not only to restore 9 Heavens Palace's prestige, but also to suppress Black Tortoise Temple, making Black Tortoise Temple give up Black Wind Canyon and Myriad Devil Graveyard would be very helpful to 9 Heavens Palace's martial artists in the future. Since he could not completely drive Black Tortoise Temple out, then he would slowly nibble away. "Lin Yuan, you trash. You don't have the guts to fight me. Yet, you are still trying to shake my fighting spirit. After I cripple Song Mofing, I'll kill you." Ling Xiao glared fiercely at Lin Yuan. He originally had no enmity with this person, but this person wanted to kill him. Due to the matter with the White Tiger Wind and Cloud Gathering, he hadn't crippled this fellow. However, today, as long as he had the chance, he definitely wouldn't let this trash off. So what if he was His Highness? Even if His Highness came in person, he would still kill Lin Yuan and destroy Song Mofing. No one could change his mind or make him waver. Humph, you only know how to talk big now. Wait until you fight with my senior brother Song. Then you'll know how deep you are. Don't think that you're very powerful just because you took first place in the white tiger meet. No matter how good your talent and comprehension are, you still have to survive to have the qualifications to become stronger. It's a pity that you won't have the chance. Lin Yuan snorted coldly. In the end, he could only rely on Song Mofing and did not have the guts to directly challenge Ling Xiao. Because he didn't dare, he knew that he wasn't a match for Ling Xiao. Scram if you can, you piece of trash, Song Mofing said. If you don't, I'll definitely kill you. Ignoring Lin Yuan, Ling Xiao turned to look at Song Mofing. After all, Song Mofing was probably the strongest opponent he had faced since the White Tiger meet. He was definitely in the 10th level of life-seizing. Ling Xiao, Song Mofing said, you'd better listen to Lin Yuan's warning. Ling Xiao and Song Mofing faced off in midair, separated by a distance of several dozen meters. Terrifying killing intent was building up between them. At any moment, a shocking attack would erupt, and the other would be killed. Song Mofing seemed to have a card up his sleeve, as if he were looking down at Ling Xiao from a lofty position. It was almost as if Ling Xiao's life were in his hands, and he could do anything he wanted with them. Just concede, Song Mofing said. It wasn't easy for you to get to where you are today. If you offend His Highness, there's no way you'll survive. Hand over profound wind, and you'll still be alive. Apparently, Song Mofing wasn't interested in fighting with Ling Xiao. After all, it was a waste of time. Will handing over profound wind really save my life? Ling Xiao chuckled disdainfully. I'm afraid it won't be that easy, will it? Speaking up for His Highness, haven't you considered that he's pushing you into a pit of fire? Too many geniuses have died at my hands. One more won't make a difference. So stubborn, Song Mofing said. It seems you really want to fight. Well, in that case, I guess I'll just have to kill you. Song Mofing's expression turned very grim. The reason he didn't want to fight with Ling Xiao was because he disdained to do so. Furthermore, he didn't want to kill Profound Wind. If that happened, he wouldn't be able to report back to the Sect Lord. After all, he wasn't His Highness, and didn't have a very high position in the profound underworld Sect Lord. It's hard to say who's going to kill who, Song Mofing said. You people from the Black Tortoise Temple always go back on your word. What bullshit gentleman's agreement. It's meaningless, but that's fine. If I kill you, the Black Tortoise Temple will know how determined the Nine Heavens Palace is. Ling Xiao never took Song Mofing's word seriously. The Black Tortoise Temple going back on their word was something he had seen many times. Now that both sides had a huge grudge, it was even more impossible for the other side to keep their promise. Since that was the case, killing Song Mofing and Lin Yuan to attack the Black Tortoise Temple's morale wasn't impossible. Even if His Highness appeared, he still had to complete this matter. Brat, you'll definitely regret this. Song Mofing looked at Ling Xiao indifferently. I've already given you a chance to live. Unfortunately, you're too arrogant and ignorant. You didn't take this chance seriously at all. You think that because you're talented and have a lot of fortuitous encounters, you can look down on everyone in the world. Unfortunately, compared to His Highness and me, you don't have any advantage at all. We've had more fortuitous encounters than you. We're better than you, and we're stronger than you. You want to make an enemy out of His Highness for some inexplicable pride. You're really stupid. Are you done with your nonsense? Ling Xiao said, cutting him off. The god's word of radiance and light appeared in his hand, pulsing with sword energy and sword will as it shot toward Song Mofing. He wasn't in the mood to waste any more words with Song Mofing. It would be much faster to just attack. A sword pierced through the air toward Song Mofing's vitals. Sword energy ripped through the air, and sword will stole the mind. This sword strike was incomparably domineering. This sword strike was as calm as ever. His sword strike was as fast as lightning, as unpredictable as the wind and clouds, as swift as light. Fast. Incomparably fast. So fast that Song Moffing had no time to dodge. Song Moffing frowned, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. In half a month, your cultivation base has risen to such a level. Terrifying. I have no choice but to kill you. To his surprise, Ling Xiao's cultivation base was already in the 7th level of life seizing. Half a month ago, he had been in the 18th level of yin yang. With talent like that and cultivation speed like that, it was no wonder that His Highness wanted him dead. Chapter 2021. The sharp sword energy pierced through Song Moffing's body. Song Moffing's body exploded, transforming into countless droplets of lava that danced in the air. This sword actually pierced empty air. As the lava fell to the ground, it began to take shape, transforming into numerous afterimages of Song Moffing. No, more accurately speaking, they were clones, because these afterimages were exactly the same as Song Moffing. In that instant, attacks came from all directions. Song Moffing also used a sword. His sword was cold and domineering. Although it couldn't compare to tyrannical heavenly seas, it was clearly more mature. He used it more freely. Each of the clones was like the real Song Moffing. Their sword energy was so real and terrifying. Rumble. As the sword stabbed forward, a strange and terrifying scene appeared. Behind each of the countless Song Moffing clones, a similar illusory image appeared. The illusory image wore a crown on its head. Unexpectedly, it was the martial soul of an emperor. The emperor martial soul allowed Song Moffing's sword energy to be infused with the domineering aura of an emperor, as if it wanted to completely crush Ling Xiao's aura. Emperor's sword. A high-grade jade martial art. Song Moffing actually cultivated a high-grade jade martial art, the Emperor's Sword, and when paired with his terrifying Emperor martial soul, it was practically flawless. Every sword strike could swallow mountains and rivers, tear apart heaven and earth. No, Ling Xiao frowned. Even for him, using a high-grade jade martial art was very difficult. Martial arts of that level belonged to rebirth realm martial artists. Even if Song Moffing's cultivation base was in the 10th stage of the life-seizing realm, he was still only halfway into the rebirth realm. There was no way he could use a high-grade jade martial art so perfectly. Moreover, at the moment his body exploded, he actually turned into a magma clone. That probably wasn't his own ability. This guy must have a treasure on him. That treasure allowed Song Moffing to use a high-grade jade martial art. It also allowed him to continuously replenish his internal energy, so that he wouldn't be in danger from using too much of his energy. Taiji. Ling Xiao used the Taiji. His body flickered as he dodged Song Moffing's sword energy. He wanted to see what treasure Song Moffing had. He saw it. It was the vermilion bird pearl. This magic treasure was a divine-grade spiritual artifact, which was much better than the defensive armor Ling Xiao had obtained from the myriad demons' graveyard. It was probably an invincible treasure for those below the rebirth state. With this thing, who could be his opponent? Ling Xiao kept dodging, but he still felt a great pressure from the king's sword. The Crimson Sun sword chi that he released was constantly being torn apart. He was actually in a dangerous situation where he was completely suppressed by his opponent. Of course, with Ling Xiao's movement technique, his superb sword chi, and the protection of the luster battle armor, it was not very likely that Song Moffing could defeat him in a short period of time. As expected, Senior Brother Song is too strong. He completely suppressed Ling Xiao and didn't give him any chance at all. Lin Yuan was originally still worried that some unforeseen event would occur, but seeing such a battle situation, he immediately heaved a sigh of relief. No matter how strong Ling Xiao was, he couldn't possibly defeat Song Moffing before he matured. Meanwhile, the leaders of the Black Turtle Temple were watching the battle on a special screen. Song Moffing's challenge to Ling Xiao was, of course, approved by profound underworld. If he could really kill Ling Xiao, then Xianming would be able to vent all the anger that he had suffered previously. Over in the Nine Heavens Palace, Nine Heavens Dream and Nine Heavens Du were also watching the battle. Perhaps it was because Ling Xiao was already on their side, but they couldn't help but be a bit worried. Empress, Ling Xiao's talent and perception are incredible. In just half a month, he's already reached the 7th level of life seizing. As long as we protect him, it won't be long before he succeeds in life seizing and reaches the rebirth state. We can't let him die. Nine Heavens Du said anxiously. There's no need to rush, Profound Underworld said. Let's wait and see. If anything happens to Ling Xiao, I'll definitely step in. Not only is he talented, but he's also half an apprentice of the Empress. I have a responsibility to protect him. The truth was that Nine Heavens Dream was also nervous. However, considering Ling Xiao's shocking performance during the White Tiger meet, she felt that it would be unfair to Ling Xiao to judge the outcome of the battle too early. Let me say something you don't like to hear, Profound Underworld said. Song Mofeng really isn't strong. What's strong is the vermilion bird pearl inside of him. Her Majesty brought it back from the Black Turtle Continent, where she killed a real vermilion bird demonling. It's just too strong. A voice suddenly sounded in the Black Tortoise Sacred Hall. Everyone looked over and saw that it was the Skill Imparting Honorable from the Skill Imparting Palace. Our Hut of Imparting Arts said, I'm afraid you're overestimating yourself. Song Mofeng has the martial soul of an emperor and the blood of a vermilion bird in his veins. That's why the vermilion bird pearl is so powerful. Back when the sect lord took those 3 as apprentices, he put in a lot of effort into them. The speaker was none other than Arhot Magic Cube. That's right, Imparting Arts replied. I personally tempered their bodies with profound underworld energy for 81 days. After that, I invited Medicine King's son, Beard, to concoct a precious medicinal solution for them to soak in for 49 days. Their bodies were tempered to the pinnacle. Of course, Her Majesty had the best latent talent and the highest level of comprehension. Not only did she cause a qualitative transformation in her own power, but she also helped Song Mofeng and Qinyu with the Black Turtle Pearl and the Vermilion Bird Pearl. She even opened up a Sumeru dimension inside of them, allowing the pearls to unleash their full potential. Furthermore, she didn't harm them in any way. With that, Arhot Magic Cube looked over at the Arhot of Imparting Arts and said, I know you're not happy with the way we handled Ling Xiao. But today, Ling Xiao is going to die at the hands of Song Mofeng. With Her Majesty's help, Song Mofeng is no ordinary life-sizer. He even has a huge amount of the vital power of reincarnation stored in his Sumeru dimension. Do you really think he'll lose? If we really want to talk about it, let's talk about how many more rounds this Ling Xiao can last. If that's what you think, Sect Lord, the Arhot of Imparting Arts said coolly. Of course, I wouldn't dare to say anything. However, you all saw how powerful Ling Xiao was back in the White Tiger meet. Haven't we been slapped in the face enough times? Well done, Arhot Magic Cube, Arhot Magic Cube said. Why are you siding with an outsider? What are you planning? I'm not siding with an outsider. I'm just stating a fact, the Arhot of Imparting Arts said coolly. The Technique Imparting Venerable said indifferently, Your actions have indeed caused our Black Tortoise Sacred Hall to lose a top genius. That so-called consummate genius is going to be killed soon. Arhot Magic Cube said coldly, And if he doesn't die? The Arhot of Imparting Arts said with a cold laugh, If he can beat Song Mofeng, then I'll give you my 800-year-old wine. It's godly wine that can improve the vital power of reincarnation. Arhot Magic Cube said angrily. Chapter 2022. I won't bet. There's no need for us to harm each other. The Venerable of Impartation smiled. I'll say it again. I'm just stating the facts. Pass on your strength. Let's bet. I remember you got a bottle of immemorial dragon chi from outside. This immemorial dragon chi is very beneficial for rebirth, realm warriors. Let's bet with that. The Venerable of Importation wasn't willing to bet, but Xian Ming's words were clearly an order. The Venerable of Importation had no choice but to bet. Forget it. Since Sect Master has said so, I'll bet. The Venerable of Importation sighed and looked at the battle. At this moment, in the air, Ling Xiao and Song Mofeng were constantly exchanging blows. Their collisions caused continuous explosions of energy. Song Mofeng's Emperor sword became even sharper and fiercer. Terrifying power. Every move was enough to trigger a phenomenon. On the battlefield, there was actually a storm. On the other hand, Ling Xiao's expression was calm as he used his movement technique to constantly swim through the gaps between the densely packed sword qi like a free fish. On the surface, Ling Xiao was indeed being suppressed. He had no room to fight back. He could only dodge and escape. But in reality, Song Mofeng's terrifying attacks would definitely consume a lot of his energy. Under normal circumstances, Ling Xiao would be able to take advantage of Song Mofeng's exhaustion to turn the tables. But after a long time, Ling Xiao felt that something was wrong. Song Mofeng's Yin Yuan Qi didn't show any signs of weakening. After such a long time, it seemed impossible. Ling Xiao frowned. He could confirm that Song Mofeng didn't just have the vermilion bird pearl. His body had been artificially modified to communicate with heaven and earth. He had become a machine that constantly transformed the world's spirit energy. As long as the world's spirit energy didn't dry up, Song Mofeng's internal energy wouldn't dry up. One had to know that the world's spirit energy in the extreme thundergrounds was much denser than the outside world. If it really dried up, it would take tens of thousands of years. But Ling Xiao couldn't possibly last that long. From the looks of it, he was definitely going to lose this battle. Song Mofeng had long been in an undefeatable position. Ha ha ha, Ling Xiao, do you understand now? There's no way you can win. The Emperor's sword represents the Emperor's descent. This world belongs to me, Song Mofeng. You want to fight with me? That's like fighting with heaven and earth. Can you win? Although martial artists keep on saying that they want to go against heaven, can you really go against heaven's will? Song Mofeng appeared very pleased with himself. Although he was surprised by Ling Xiao's battle prowess and the fact that Ling Xiao was able to hold out against him for such a long time, he was still able to do so. However, he was still certain that defeating Ling Xiao was only a matter of time, and it definitely wouldn't take too long. Song Mofeng's figure flashed, and the entire void was filled with his afterimages. Terrifying sword qi came from all directions towards Ling Xiao. It was like lava after a volcanic eruption, constantly pouncing towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had to maintain 120% vigilance. Otherwise, once he was bitten by the sword qi, it would be disastrous. You want to control heaven and earth? Today, I'll show you what the real heaven and earth is. Ling Xiao suddenly stopped. He even put away the sword in his hand. A vast, righteous qi of heaven and earth burst out from his body. It was even more brilliant and terrifying than Phoenix Shadow's righteous qi. At this moment, two figures appeared behind Ling Xiao. One was the Emperor Sky, the other was the Earth Empress. The Emperor Sky Empress is the true controller of this space. You, the Emperor, also have to listen to them. What a terrifying punch! The entire world seemed to have suddenly quieted down. All the sword qi instantly shattered with a loud bang. Then, Ling Xiao wrapped the power of the Emperor Sky Empress and controlled heaven and earth, directly cutting off the source of Song Mofeng's internal energy. At this moment, Song Mofeng finally revealed a look of panic. The Emperor's sword had instantly consumed all of his yin-yang and reincarnation elemental energy. He didn't dare to continue using it and could only give up on the Emperor's sword. However, Song Mofeng had been cultivating the Emperor's sword all this time. If he didn't use it now, he could only use low-level martial arts to fight Ling Xiao. How could he possibly fight back against the Emperor Sky Empress? Emperor Sky Power, Tempest Fist. Ling Xiao roared as he punched out with both fists. The only thing left in the air were the afterimages of his fists. Song Mofing's scattered afterimages were shattered one by one, and the situation was reversed in an instant. All of this was because Ling Xiao had used the power of the Emperor Sky Empress to control heaven and earth and cut off the source of Song Mofing's internal energy. Without an endless supply of internal energy, Song Mofing, a Tenery life-sizer, was forced to use a high-grade, jade-ranked martial art. That was pure self-harm. Bam, 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 bam. One afterimage after another was destroyed, leaving behind only Song Mofing's battered and exhausted body. Song Mofing's face was pale and bloodless. He had never imagined that Ling Xiao would have such a terrifying ability. Furthermore, he hadn't even used it on the White Tiger Meets battle arena. This terrifying power was so miraculous that in the face of it, his Emperor Sky Empress's sword and Emperor Sky Empress were completely powerless. Die. Ling Xiao had said that if Song Mofing wanted to kill him, he would kill him. Now that he had forced Song Mofing to reveal his true self, this was his chance. Emperor Sky Power, Heaven-Raising Great Sword. An enormous sword of heaven and earth appeared in Ling Xiao's hands, formed from the power of the Emperor Sky Empress, and infused with the elemental essence of heaven and earth. It was incomparably ferocious. The terrifying giant sword pressed down. Song Mofing wanted to flee, but it was as if he were being sucked in by the sword energy. He couldn't even move an inch, and instead was being pulled toward the great sword. This was the first time such a terrified and fearful expression had appeared on his face. In the past, when he wasn't facing Ling Xiao, he had only ever looked like this in front of His Highness. But now it was happening again. He didn't want to die. "Your Highness, save me!" He screamed with all his might, hoping that His Highness, whom he worshipped, could save his life so that he wouldn't die in Ling Xiao's hands. "No one can save you. Even if His Highness comes personally, I'll kill you." Whoosh! The sword energy whistled through the air. Song Mofing's eyes were fixed on the huge blade, filled with despair and fear. Lin Yuan, who was standing at the side, was equally terrified. He could not understand how Ling Xiao could possess such terrifying strength. He was just being suppressed by senior brother Song. So how did the tables turn in an instant? Of course, he didn't understand that Ling Xiao's initial escape was because he didn't want to expose the power of the Emperor Sky Empress. After discovering that Song Mofing's body had been modified, he knew that he had to use the power of the Emperor Sky Empress. That was why he acted decisively. Trump cards were to be used at crucial moments. If they weren't used, then there was no point. Using it could bring unexpected gains, and that was good. Chapter 2023. Run, Senior Brother Song. Lin Yuan shouted as he turned around and ran towards the Black Tortoise Temple. He knew that even if the people from the Black Tortoise Temple came to save them, it would take some time. During this time, Ling Xiao would have enough time to kill them. Therefore, they had to stall for time and save their lives first. Song Mofing also wanted to escape, but his body couldn't move at all. In this world, he had long been imprisoned. "Song Mofing, your life, I'll take it." Ling Xiao looked at Song Mofing coldly without the slightest bit of sympathy. Since the other party wanted to kill him, why should he sympathize? To him, Song Mofing was now his mortal enemy. The power of this earth-shattering sword had increased to a terrifying degree. No one could stop it. Even the old guys from the Black Tortoise Temple were shocked. Song Mofing's body was finally split into two by this terrifying sword chi, blood splattering everywhere. His blood-stained body was thrown to the ground, forming two bloody arcs. This Ling Xiao, what a fast sword! What an arrogant person! In the Black Tortoise Temple, the venerable technique imparter couldn't help but mutter to himself. From the beginning to the end, he felt that the Black Tortoise Temple's treatment of Ling Xiao was too much. If Xian Feng didn't kidnap Cold Plum, if Xian Ming didn't lower his status, if the venerable magic cube didn't deprive Ling Xiao of his trial opportunity, even if they couldn't subdue Ling Xiao in the end, they wouldn't be like fire and water. But now everything was too late. The Black Tortoise Temple, no. The entire Linglong Palace had offended a terrifying potential opponent. Sooner or later, the Linglong Palace would pay a heavy price for what they had done this time. He sighed. In the end, he was also a member of the Linglong Palace. He was truly worried about the Linglong Palace's future. After killing Song Mofeng, Ling Xiao's figure flashed, dashing towards Song Mofeng's corpse. Not only did he want to kill Song Mofeng, he also wanted to obtain the vermilion bird pearl in Song Mofeng's body. Impudent! At this time, thunder rumbled in the sky, lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled. A terrifying voice came from the vermilion bird pearl, cold, powerful, and domineering. It was as if he was a high and mighty god who didn't care about anything in the world. He was invincible, cold, and supercilious. Your Highness. His Highness is here. I didn't hear wrongly. That was His Highness' voice. The Black Warrior Temple disciples that came with Song Mofeng were frightened by the horrifying scene in front of them, unable to believe their eyes for a long time. They were afraid that Ling Xiao would kill them all. However, at this moment, Her Highness's voice came from the boundless horizon. It came from the vermilion bird pearl. It seemed to be everywhere. They couldn't help but feel excited, and almost all of them revealed ecstatic expressions. His Highness was also a mysterious figure in the Black Tortoise Temple. Almost no one had seen him before, but almost everyone had heard of him and heard his voice. Ha ha ha, Ling Xiao, you're dead meat. With His Highness here, let's see who can save you. Lin Yuan laughed maniacally. He knew that as long as His Highness was here, his life would be saved. Boom! Ling Xiao's hand, which was reaching for the vermilion bird pearl, was knocked away. His entire body was sent flying. Ling Xiao couldn't help but be on high alert. His opponent hadn't even arrived yet. Just the energy attached to the vermilion bird pearl was enough to send him flying. This kind of terrifying strength was not something he could contend against. Ling Xiao steadied himself in the air and instantly entered the god of slaughter's physique. The blood-red battle armor made his murderous aura even more ferocious. The blood-red cloak and the white holy sword, white blade, gave him a sense of security and stability. He knew that he was no match for His Highness, but he wasn't someone who would admit defeat easily. No matter how strong you are, you won't be able to stop me from taking the vermilion bird pearl before you arrive. Ling Xiao made up his mind. His body flashed again, and his speed rose to the maximum. In an instant, he grabbed the vermilion bird pearl in his hand and swallowed it. He could feel the power of the vermilion bird pearl beginning to spread in his body, making him feel extremely comfortable. When there was time, he would slowly absorb and transform it. He believed that with this vermilion bird pearl, his cultivation would increase by leaps and bounds. Boom! A terrifying power formed between heaven and earth once again. Ling Xiao's gaze was fixed on the void where the power was condensing. A hole was torn open there, and terrifying elemental energy leaked out from it. A tall figure slowly stepped out from it, divine eyes like lightning, domineering and majestic. He was like a god, like the son of heaven and earth, coming to teach the mortal world. This mysterious His Highness had finally arrived. His Highness stepped out from the chaotic elements, and an ancient and ferocious aura was emitted. It was as if no one else in this world could compare to him. Everyone felt a suffocating pressure. Thump, thump, thump. Thump, thump, thump. The warriors present couldn't help but feel their hearts beating faster, including Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao felt the excitement from every cell in his body. The person who came was really a big shot. He wanted to see how powerful this big shot was to make so many people worship him. Buzz. His voice, which was as loud as a bell, rushed straight to Ling Xiao. This was clearly His Highness trying to intimidate him. At that moment, Ling Xiao felt as if he was struck by lightning. His body retreated continuously, and the blood-red armor on his body almost couldn't be maintained. However, his will was not to be humiliated. In the end, he stood still. The blood-red cape fluttered in the wind, and the white-blade sacred sword in his hand released a shocking sword aura. The sword intent rushed to the sky, resisting His Highness's pressure. His Highness finally walked out from the void. He looked like a man in his early 30s. However, the aura exuding from his body was extraordinary, akin to a heavenly god, standing tall in the void, causing the Black Tortoise Temple's disciples to cheer. It was as if he alone could hold up the heavens, crush the earth, and make countless people prostrate themselves before him. The disciples of the Black Tortoise Temple had already knelt on the ground. This scene hadn't happened even when Xianming had appeared. His Highness wanted to make Ling Xiao kneel the most. However, although Ling Xiao was small, his terrifying sword intent wasn't weak at all. He stood there like a sword, completely unafraid of His Highness's majesty. It was impossible for His Highness to use this to make him admit defeat, unless he defeated him personally. However, Ling Xiao had to admit that the gap between him and His Highness was too big. This person was too strong. Although he wasn't as strong as Xianming, his aura was more terrifying than Xianming's. He must have some special martial soul that made him unparalleled like a god. Damn it, if I advance to the rebirth state, I might be able to fight this person. However, I can only hold on for now. Ling Xiao wasn't willing to retreat. After all, he had already planned an escape route. He was only staying here to see how powerful His Highness was. Under this huge pressure, his potential would erupt to a greater extent, and his strength would increase even faster. Chapter 2024. His Highness floated in the air and looked at Ling Xiao with incomparable coldness and disdain. His voice resounded through the sky. Bastard, who gave you the guts to kill my people? How dare you steal my vermilion bird pearl? His voice carried a powerful pressure that blasted towards Ling Xiao, as if to force Ling Xiao to submit. Even a king of sovereigns couldn't make me submit. The Imperial Heaven Empress is my shield, and the heavenly demon Golden Crow is under my control. Who do you think you are to question me like this? Ling Xiao clenched his teeth and roared. The phantoms of the heavenly demon, the Golden Crow, the killing god, the ancient hell dragon, the ancient nature dragon, and the ancient five elements dragon appeared behind him. They all condensed into the white blade of the holy sword, and a soaring sword intent pierced the void. He wasn't just defending, he was resisting. His strength might not be as strong as His Highness, but his willpower might not lose. Rumble! A terrifying collision exploded in the sky, and His Highness's pressure was directly shattered. Ling Xiao straightened his body and looked coldly at His Highness, who was several times stronger than him, neither servile nor overbearing. Song Mothing fought with me, and we agreed to fight to the death. I killed him and took his vermilion bird pearl. What's wrong with that? You're a top figure, but you're such a stupid idiot. Do you need me to answer such a question? Ling Xiao's voice resounded between heaven and earth, and everyone heard him clearly. Lin Yuan turned pale with fright. Is this guy crazy? He's so bold in front of His Highness, daring to speak with such an attitude. He dares to call His Highness a stupid idiot? Crazy! He's really crazy. Not to mention him, even the venerables of Black Tortoise Temple were shocked. What was His Highness? He was an existence second only to the dark mystic sect master. Even the venerables of the 13 palaces and rebirth realm cultivators had to treat him with respect, not daring to speak loudly. Ling Xiao actually dared to insult His Highness. He must have eaten a bear's heart and leopard's guts. Was this the so-called newborn calf that was not afraid of the tiger? Within the Nine Heavens Palace, the Nine Heavens Dream and Nine Heavens Do had already stood up. They were prepared to rescue Ling Xiao at any moment, and to prevent His Highness from killing Ling Xiao. In this situation, it was clear that His Highness would not be reasonable. Since he had appeared, he would not let Ling Xiao live. If the people on his side didn't make a move, Ling Xiao would be dead for sure. There was no hope of survival. His Highness couldn't help but be stunned. No one had ever dared to speak to him like that. Ever since he joined the Black Tortoise Temple, he was above everyone else. On the White Tiger continent, he was the king, the emperor, and the god. No matter who it was, no one dared to defy him. However, not only did this person dare to disobey him, he even dared to scold him. Ants really don't know how precious their lives are. He sneered and didn't take Ling Xiao seriously at all. His terrifying majesty attacked again, covering the sky and the earth. His voice reverberated between heaven and earth like a clap of thunder. Good. Very good. White Tiger meets number 1. You indeed have outstanding talent. Under my powerful aura, you're actually still able to stand tall and not fall. Truly astonishing. Looks like there seems to be quite a few secrets in your body. But just based on these, do you have the right to talk about rules with me? In the White Tiger continent, I'm the rules. Looking around the world, no one dares to disobey. If I say that you've committed a capital offense, you've committed a capital offense. Are you unconvinced? What a joke. Do you really think that you're something? On the White Tiger continent, there are still the 4 great empire sovereigns, as well as the Orthodox sect master. Even your Black Tortoise Temple's sect master merely gives you some face. Why would they listen to your orders? There's another name. You should have heard of it before, right? Back then, you were defeated at his hands. But he's working under me now. His name is the Wine Demon Sword, general of a defeated army. What right do you have to say that you're the White Tiger continent's ruler? Simply have no sense of shame. Ling Xiao felt that this person was simply hilarious and arrogant to the point of boundless. Perhaps this person was indeed very strong, and his influence was also indeed very great. But to say that he was awe-inspiring and could suppress the White Tiger continent, that was still too much. Other things aside, Jiu Tianmeng and Jiu Tian would not let him mess around. That Orthodox sect Taoist, Imei, would not be weaker than him. Well said. In Jiu Tian Palace, Jiu Tianmeng nodded. Although their Jiu Tian Palace had declined, they still had experts. A mere genius disciple of the Black Tortoise Temple actually dared to speak so arrogantly. She wanted to go out and ruthlessly beat this guy up now. Have no sense of shame? His Highness had obviously become incomparably furious. His gaze was as terrifying and sharp as a sword blade, as if he wanted to directly pierce through Ling Xiao's body. Even though Ling Xiao's body was protected by layers of layers, he could still feel the piercing pain. Ling Xiao had a feeling that if he did not have the Sky Tyrant martial spirit protecting him, he would have been killed by the terrifying pressure of this Highness. This guy was really too strong. It was not completely unreasonable for him to dare to speak such arrogant and conceited words. You dare to speak to this Highness like this. Have you ever thought of the consequences? His Highness coldly said, I heard that you are the Heavenly Emperor of the Heavenly Empire. If you die, I will definitely destroy your empire and kill all your family and friends. So you better think clearly. Today, obediently hand over Xianfeng, then cripple your own martial arts and break your meridians. I can give you a chance. His cold voice continued. As long as you do this, I won't touch your people. But if you're not willing, then I'll definitely make you suffer in the abyss of hell. All of your family and friends will have to endure great pain after that. You will be tortured in that filthy and terrifying hell. He was like a high and mighty emperor, pronouncing the life and death of lowly people. He even wanted to implicate 10 clans and exterminate a country. Asking Ling Xiao to cripple his own martial arts. This was simply laughable. Ling Xiao started from the age of 15 to the age of 17. Although the time was not long, he had experienced too much during this period. Now that he had cultivated to his current realm with great difficulty, asking him to cripple his own martial arts was equivalent to asking him to die. Don't forget, he had a lot of enemies. Once he could not fight, then he would definitely fall into the vortex of revenge. Unable to protect himself, his family and friends would also be unlucky. This kind of request was completely unreasonable. Just because Ling Xiao killed Song Mofing and snatched the vermilion bird pearl, this highness clearly wanted to use him to establish his might and let the world see. What kind of consequences would it be to offend his highness? Your words are really full of jokes. Do you really think that you are the master of this world? Don't forget, this is the extreme lightning place. You want to kill me? You still have to ask if the human king agrees or not. Ling Xiao still did not escape. He had a complete plan. In this extreme lightning place, he was an invincible existence. No one could be his opponent. Chapter 2025. From the day Ling Xiao arrived here, he had been studying the myriad lightning immortal slaying array. Later, he obtained the memories of the 9 Heavens Palace's old palace lord and knew the myriad lightning extreme land like the back of his hand. He knew even more than Jiao Tianmeng. Jiao Tianmeng inherited the 9 Heavens Palace's palace lord position, but because he was in a hurry, he didn't obtain many secrets about the myriad lightning extreme land. However, Ling Xiao had obtained them. Not only that, but the remaining 2 strands of the human king's power in his body made him compatible with the myriad lightning extreme land. The myriad lightning extreme land seemed to have become his own domain, a domain that couldn't be taken away, but in here he was invincible. Unless someone was stronger than a human king, as long as they entered the myriad lightning extreme land, they could forget about being his match. This Black Tortoise Temple's highness foolishly came here to oppose him. He was simply asking for trouble. How could he back down? Since the other party wanted to kill him, he would let the other party feel endless fear and make him lose face. Fine, since you don't want to cripple your own martial arts, I'll kill you, then your family and friends. His Highness's face became even gloomier, and a terrifying aura erupted. He didn't attack, only glancing at Ling Xiao. Strange fluctuations suddenly appeared in the air. Ling Xiao felt as if his body was about to be crushed. He couldn't resist at all. This was the comparison of the two's true strength. However, Ling Xiao didn't just have true strength. There were many factors that could determine the outcome of a battle. The Sky Tyrant martial soul had been released and merged into the myriad lightning extreme land. At this moment, the myriad lightning extreme land belonged to Ling Xiao. Black wind howls. Thousands of demons rebel. You call yourself His Highness, but in reality, you're just a short-sighted and laughable guy. You're afraid that I'll surpass you, so you want to kill me. But how can I do as you wish? Following Ling Xiao's voice, the myriad lightning extreme land's black wind howled. The black wind in the Black Wind Canyon whistled. Even His Highness could feel his strength constantly decreasing, as if he was being eroded. Then, countless demonic shadows flew out, attacking His Highness and those from the Black Tortoise Temple. What? His Highness clearly did not expect that Ling Xiao could actually use the power of the extreme lightning ground. Not to mention him, even the people from 9 Heavens Palace and Black Tortoise Divine Hall hadn't expected this. I'll let you off today. If you have the ability, then don't ever step out of this place. His Highness snorted coldly, turned around and fled in panic. This guy could be considered a smart person. Once he saw that the situation was not right, he immediately left. Ha ha ha. Didn't you want me to cripple my martial arts? What a joke. You made yourself sound so domineering and invincible. but in the end, you can only flee in panic. Ling Xiao laughed heartily as he watched His Highness escape. Ling Xiao, don't be complacent. If you have the ability, don't come out. This Highness will go to the Dragon Phoenix continent right now and destroy your heavenly empire. I'll see if you come out or not. His Highness was obviously infuriated by Ling Xiao. In order to regain his lost face and dignity, he had to do something. That is to destroy the Celestial Empire and re-establish his own prestige. All right, go ahead. If you can come back alive, it'll be my loss. Ling Xiao mocked. The Liquor Demon sword is waiting for you there. 10 years ago, you weren't his match. 10 years later, you still aren't his match. Of course, he knew that the Liquor Demon sword was not in the Celestial Empire, but had gone to the Black Tortoise continent with Hongqi. But saying these words now could delay for a period of time, making His Highness not dare to easily head to the Dragon Phoenix continent. This was the vitality of the Celestial Empire, and also his, Ling Xiao's, opportunity. During this period of time, he had to increase his strength as much as possible to deal with the upcoming trouble. Ling Xiao returned to the Nine Heavens Palace, but he had a new goal in his heart. This His Highness must be eliminated. This guy's threat was too great. He wanted to destroy his celestial empire at the drop of a hat. He was even more unreasonable than Xianming. On the other side, after His Highness escaped, because he was afraid of the existence of the Liquor Demon sword, he did not directly head to the Dragon Phoenix continent. Instead, he sent people to investigate. In the end, he was still afraid of the Liquor Demon sword. 10 years ago, the Liquor Demon sword nearly killed him with a sword. Although he was incomparably domineering now, the Liquor Demon sword had become his heart demon. Unless he could kill the Liquor Demon sword, otherwise there would always be obstacles on his path of martial arts. Those vassals of His Highness were all furious. They hated Ling Xiao to the bone. His Highness was so awe-inspiring, so domineering and invincible. But when he encountered that Ling Xiao, he actually fled back to the Black Tortoise Divine Palace in a panic. Although this was a special situation, Ling Xiao probably made use of the power of the Myriad Thunder Extreme Ground. But even so, escaping was escaping. This matter absolutely could not be known to outsiders. Of course, they would not say it. Therefore, to seal it, they could only kill Ling Xiao and destroy the Nine Heavens Palace. That Ling Xiao is really repulsive. He actually refused to obey His Highness's discipline. We must think of a way to kill him to prevent this matter from spreading and damaging His Highness's dignity. That fellow only has such strength because he hides in the Myriad Thunder Extreme Ground. Once he leaves the Myriad Thunder Extreme Ground, His Highness can crush him with a single finger. I heard that the mysterious underworld sect master has bestowed His Highness the prize for the white tiger meat. At first, I thought that Ling Xiao was a little pitiful, but now it seems like he really deserves it. Actually, according to common sense, even if Ling Xiao had not joined the Black Tortoise Divine Palace, the prize for the first place should have been given to him. However, the Black Tortoise Divine Palace was used to doing shameless and despicable things. They had actually bestowed the prize for the first place to His Highness. One had to know that this prize was a treasure jointly created by the White Tiger Continent's 5 major factions and the Black Tortoise Divine Palace. The Black Tortoise Divine Palace had privately bestowed the prize without the consent of the 5 major factions. The 5 major factions had not dared to object. It could be seen that both the mysterious underworld sect and His Highness were extremely arrogant and overbearing. They did not put the 5 major factions in their eyes at all. That Ling Xiao is definitely courting death. His talent is not bad. If he was willing to pledge allegiance to His Highness and join the Black Tortoise Divine Palace, he would still have a chance to grow. But now that he has offended His Highness, he is finished. Ha ha ha. He will come out sooner or later. I don't believe that he will allow the Heavenly Dynasty Empire to be destroyed by His Highness. That brat definitely won't live for more than a year. What year? He won't be able to live for even a month. Our people have already gone to the Dragon Phoenix continent to investigate and will soon send back news. At that time, His Highness will definitely personally go to the Dragon Phoenix continent. How can that Ling Xiao not come out? Once he comes out, he will definitely die. In the Black Tortoise Divine Palace, the cultivators were discussing animatedly. Most of them were talking about how Ling Xiao would die and when he would die. Ling Xiao. He actually dared to humiliate His Highness and kill my good friend Song Moffing. Qin Yu, will definitely not let you off. Somewhere in the Black Tortoise Divine Palace, one of the Divine Palace's 3 geniuses, Qin Yu, coldly looked in the direction of the Myriad Thunder Extreme Place. Chapter 2026. From Qin Yu's point of view, although he was surprised that Ling Xiao could use the power of the absolute Thunderbolt Extreme Ground. But it didn't matter. If the 13 Venerables worked together, they could cut off Ling Xiao's connection with the absolute Thunderbolt Extreme Ground. Killing Ling Xiao would still be easy, but there was no need for His Highness to do it. He could just do it for him. He touched the ring on his right thumb. This was the reward for the champion of the White Tiger meat, an immortal grade treasure. And it was a special treasure. After His Highness obtained it, he didn't use it for himself. Instead, he gave it to him. He knew that this treasure wasn't of much use to His Highness, but to him, it was a top-grade treasure. This ring could continuously absorb the reincarnation Yuan Qi from heaven and earth. It poured into his body, making his internal energy stronger. This was the reincarnation Yuan Qi. When any warrior cultivated, it was impossible to convert all the energy they cultivated into cultivation. A part of it would be wasted, and most people would waste at least 40% of this energy. The energy scattered between heaven and earth like a wandering soul without a master. However, with this thumb ring, he would be able to absorb the reincarnation origin energy that was wasted by others. This was something that even a rebirth realm warrior couldn't do. Ling Xiao, this guy, actually wanted to get such a good thing. Fortunately, His Highness took it and gave it to me. With it, I can quickly advance to the rebirth realm. In order to repay His Highness' kindness, I naturally have to take your head as a thank you gift. With a cold laugh, he turned and left. On the other side, Ling Xiao had already met with Jiu Tianmeng. There were some things that he needed to discuss with Jiu Tianmeng. Ling Xiao, now that you've offended His Highness, I'm afraid it's not good for you to leave the absolute Thunderbolt Extreme Ground. Why don't you just stay here and cultivate? With your talent, you'll be able to advance to the rebirth realm soon. Wouldn't it be better to find trouble with that guy then? Jiu Tianmeng said to Ling Xiao, No, if His Highness can't vent his anger on me, then sooner or later he'll make a move on the Heavenly Dynasty Empire. My plan has to be brought forward. First, I have to drive all the people of the Black Tortoise Divine Palace out of the Myriad Lightning Extreme Place. This way, His Highness will be too busy to look for trouble with my Heavenly Dynasty Empire. Ling Xiao shook his head. But are you confident? Just now, I saw that you could actually use the power of the extreme land of Myriad Thunders. What's going on? Jiu Tianmeng was also very shocked. Even now, he still didn't know the answer. Please forgive me for not being able to answer this question for now. Although I trust you very much, I hope you can understand that everyone has their own secrets. Ling Xiao could not possibly reveal the secret of his tyrant martial spirit, because he could not guarantee that Jiu Tianmeng would still be so friendly towards him after hearing about it. After all, the Sky Tyrant martial spirit was too tempting. All right, let me tell you something else. Jiu Tianmeng smiled and didn't probe further. In fact, she also had some secrets that she didn't say. This was normal. After all, the two of them had not reached the level where they could completely open their hearts to each other. What's the matter? Ling Xiao asked curiously. You should know that one of the rewards for the first place of the white tiger meat is a Yuan Li thumb ring. This Yuan Li thumb ring can absorb the unowned reincarnation Yuan Li between heaven and earth, thus helping martial artists to cultivate faster and reach the rebirth realm as soon as possible. In addition, the Yuan Li thumb ring has a special effect. That is, it can instantly condense the reincarnation Yuan Li between heaven and earth, forming a powerful defensive space. Even if a rebirth realm martial artist wants to kill the owner of the thumb ring, it will be very difficult. And this thumb ring has been given to me by His Highness. Jiao Tianmeng looked at Ling Xiao and said, "What belongs to me will be mine sooner or later." Ling Xiao smiled. He was already used to the Black Tortoise Temple's shamelessness. Since the other party had done this, he could only use a forceful method to take back the Yuan Li thumb ring. With the Yuan Li thumb ring, at least he wouldn't have to hide in the extreme land of myriad thunders. "I'm not talking about this." Jiao Tianmeng shook his head and said, "You should know that the Yuan Li thumb ring was found by Xian Ming in the extreme land of myriad thunders. In the extreme land of myriad thunders, other than the Black Wind Canyon and the graveyard of myriad demons, there are dozens of secret realms, some of which even the Black Tortoise Temple can't enter. But I see that you can draw the power of the extreme land of myriad thunders. Maybe you can do it." "Palace Master, if you have something to say, please say it," Ling Xiao said. "Okay, then I won't beat around the bush. Let me tell you, in the extreme land of myriad thunders, there are many secret realms that can't compare to a place called the skyscraper furnace. There is an immemorial heavenly demon suppressed in the skyscraper furnace. It's not the immemorial heavenly demon battle intent on your body, but a real immemorial heavenly demon. The immemorial heavenly demon was severely injured by the human king in the past, and its cultivation was greatly reduced. I think that you can rely on the power of the extreme land of myriad thunders to kill it, and then obtain the treasure in the skyscraper furnace. As long as you obtain that treasure, you will have more control over the extreme land of myriad thunders. Moreover, there are unexpected benefits." Jiao Tianmeng's words made Ling Xiao frown. Obviously, the skyscraper furnace was very dangerous. Even if the immemorial heavenly demon strength was greatly reduced, even if it was only at the reincarnation realm, it was still not something that Ling Xiao could deal with. This is just a suggestion. The immemorial heavenly demon is indeed powerful. Its current strength is more terrifying than the combined strength of Xian Ming and me. Originally, I didn't want to tell you, but after seeing your battle with His Highness, I came up with this idea. Perhaps you can use the extreme land of myriad thunders to fight with that guy." Jiao Tianmeng explained. Ling Xiao nodded. This was indeed an opportunity. If he went, it might be dangerous, but he was almost invincible in the extreme land of myriad thunders. Unless his opponent could also use the power of the extreme land of myriad thunders. But that possibility was very low. After all, he was the only one who had the Sky Tyrant martial spirit and the human king's power. "I'll go and have a look." Ling Xiao nodded. "This is a map. Go back and study it carefully. If you feel that it's too dangerous, then forget about it." Jiao Tianmeng gave a piece of memory metal to Ling Xiao. After Ling Xiao received it, a three-dimensional map immediately appeared in his mind. It clearly marked the location of the skyscraper furnace. It's been more than 100,000 years. No one has ever entered the skyscraper furnace. Therefore, no one can be sure of the situation inside. I'm just making a prediction. Perhaps you'll be lucky and meet the immemorial heavenly demon who is on the verge of death. Or perhaps you'll be unlucky and meet the immemorial heavenly demon who has recovered his full strength. In short, there are all kinds of possibilities. I need to tell you everything. You decide for yourself. Chapter 2027. I'll think about it. Ling Xiao needed to consider. Although he was a person who did not fear danger, he was definitely not a reckless person. Before he did anything, he would always make careful preparations to ensure that nothing went wrong. This time his plan was the same. First, he needed to get stronger, and then investigate the skyscraper furnace. Then, he would decide whether or not to take the risk. During the 3 days that passed, Ling Xiao remained in the Nine-Heaven Palace, absorbing the vermilion bird pearl he had acquired from song-mothing and pushing his cultivation base to the 8th level of life-seizing. Although it was only a single level of advancement, it only took 3 days, which was faster than most people. Most importantly, after absorbing the vermilion bird pearl, his mastery of the profound truths of light had also improved. Even the 9 transformations of the Crimson Sun had reached a new level. After that, he spent a day to figure out the situation around the skyscraper furnace. Using his Taiji eye, he was able to get a good idea of what was inside. Although he might not be able to get the treasures inside, he should be able to escape. One day, he told Nine Heaven Dream that he was heading to the skyscraper furnace. However, just before he was about to leave, Qin Yu showed up. Qin Yu hadn't come to the arid lands of myriad lightnings to fight, but to trade for Xianfeng. Ling Xiao thought about it for a moment. Xianfeng was like a chicken rib to him. He was sure that Xianming would care about Xianfeng, but His Majesty definitely wouldn't. Keeping Xianfeng alive wouldn't be a good idea. Of course, whatever Qin Yu brought would have to satisfy him. Ling Xiao, profound-grade medicinal pills, spirit items, high-grade, jade-ranked martial arts. Just let young Master Xianfeng go. From the look of it, Qin Yu was being sincere. His offer was very generous. As long as you're sincere, that's good. How about this? I don't need medicinal pills, and high-grade, jade-ranked martial arts are useless to me. Why don't you give me that vital energy ring? Ling Xiao said, smiling. Don't push it. His Majesty gave it to me. How could I possibly give it to you? Qin Yu's expression was ferocious. He really wanted to slap this greedy fellow to death. However, this time he was under the orders of the sect master of the profound underworld sect to ensure Xianfeng's safety. Hence, he did not get angry. However, it was impossible for him to give up the elemental energy thumb ring. Let's do something else. I can't give you this yuan energy thumb ring. Qin Yu shook his head, his attitude firm. Fine, you can take out something comparable to the elemental energy thumb ring. I'm a very easy person to talk to. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Qin Yu's eyes flashed with a hint of viciousness, but it disappeared in an instant. He smiled and said, It just so happens that I do have such an item. I'm just afraid that you won't dare to take it. What is it? Ling Xiao asked. This is a ring called the Black Sky Demonic Ring. Its grade is even better than my Origin Energy Thumb Ring. You definitely won't lose out. Qin Yu smiled. Black Sky Demonic Ring? Are you that kind? Ling Xiao furrowed his eyebrows. He didn't believe that Qin Yu would give him something better than an Origin Energy Ring. I'm not that kind. This Black Sky Demonic Ring is a bit special. Although it's not bad, it has a strong demonic energy and terrifying dark energy. Rumor has it that an immemorial heavenly demon brought it from outside the mystic world. Once it's worn, it's possible to be devoured by the dark energy. Even a rebirth realm martial artist can't refine it. To us, it's of little value. If you really want it, I can give it to you. In addition, I'll give you some precious alchemy materials. How about it? Do you think we're stupid? Why would we want something like that? To use it as a sacrifice? Nine Heavens Do, who was secretly protecting Ling Xiao, couldn't help but jump out and scold Qin Yu. Haha, I didn't say that you have to take it. It's just that he wants a treasure similar to the Origin Energy Thumb Ring. This Black Sky Demonic Ring is even better than the Origin Energy Thumb Ring. Its grade might already be an Emperor artifact, and has long surpassed the category of spirit artifacts. It's just that it's hard to control. To be honest, it's up to you whether you want it or not. If you keep it, it still has some research value. Qin Yu chuckled, not minding. In truth, he had already calculated Ling Xiao's temperament. When he brought the black sky demonic ring out, he was worried that Ling Xiao wouldn't want it. But after the profound underworld sect master's guidance, he understood. Ling Xiao was far too conceited and egotistical. The more difficult something was to control, the more he liked it. Even if this black sky demonic ring was of little value, Ling Xiao definitely wouldn't refuse it. All right, then we'll do as you say. Hand over the goods and hand over the person. Ling Xiao's voice suddenly sounded out. Qin Yu was secretly delighted. This Ling Xiao was truly conceited. Something that was clearly impossible to control would become completely useless once he brought it back. He couldn't use it at all. So what use did he have for it? Ling Xiao, you're crazy. This black sky demonic ring isn't just because the primordial heavenly demon once wore it, but also because it was tainted by the endless blood fiend energy on the primordial battlefield, becoming extremely filthy. Even the divine flame can't refine it. It's indeed very strong, but what use do you have for it? I know you cultivate the power of the heavenly demon, but you don't need this thing. If you're not careful, you might be devoured by it and become a true demon. Hearing Ling Xiao's words, 9 heavens Du panicked and hurriedly spoke out to dissuade him. He also thought that Ling Xiao wanted this thing because he was conceited and egotistical. 9 heavens Du, aren't you being too nosy? Ling Xiao already said that we can exchange it, and you're actually stopping him? Qin Yu sneered and said, You might be right, but this black sky demonic ring is also an primordial treasure. It contains an extremely terrifying energy. It's impossible for ordinary people to obtain it. The black tortoise sacred hull accidentally entered the skyscraper furnace and obtained this ring. Ah, right. I heard that you were preparing to go to the skyscraper furnace recently. Unfortunately, Our Highness has already been there, and this black sky demonic ring was taken out by him from there. Surprise! It was really a double surprise. The first was because His Highness was so powerful that he actually came back alive from the skyscraper furnace. The second was because this black sky demonic ring actually came from the skyscraper furnace, which meant that this ring was closely related to the demonic creature in the skyscraper furnace. While 9 heavens Du was dumbfounded, Ling Xiao and Qin Yu had already exchanged people and goods. Qin Yu seemed to be impatient to throw the black sky demonic ring to Ling Xiao, as if he didn't want to hold it in his hands for a moment. The moment Ling Xiao came into contact with the black sky demonic ring, he knew why. The black sky demonic ring was constantly releasing black, demonic qi and dark energy that made one's heart flutter. Chapter 2028. Although there were layers of inscription seals on the black sky demonic ring, which contained a very pure righteous qi, it could not block all of the demonic qi. The person who sealed the black sky demonic ring should not be Xianming. Xianming did not have such pure, righteous qi. This person must be an extremely strong existence. Even in the rebirth realm, he must be a supreme person. He could even be an even stronger existence. Otherwise, it would be impossible to seal the black sky demonic ring. Even though the seal had been formed, the demonic qi of the black sky demonic ring was constantly corroding and devouring the inscription seals. It was estimated that the Black Tortoise Temple had spent a lot of energy and resources to seal this thing. That was why they were so eager to give this thing away. Otherwise, it would be a loss if they spent a lot of money and did not get any benefits. Ling Xiao could feel that there seemed to be a ferocious devil living in the black sky demonic ring. The moment he touched the ring, it was as if there was a pair of terrifying giant eyes staring at him in the darkness, making him feel uneasy. What a strong demonic qi! What a terrifying power of darkness! This black sky demonic ring seems to have a life of its own. Could it be that there is a devil living in it? Ling Xiao thought in his heart, but Qin Yu had already sent Xian Feng into the transmission array. Ha 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 ha, Ling Xiao, you idiot. You should have listened to the 9 heavens do. Suddenly, Qin Yu raised his head to the sky and laughed wildly. He said to Ling Xiao, "The black sky demonic ring has been stained with countless amounts of blood. It is an extremely evil ring. In the past 100,000 years, many people have worn it. Although their strength has increased sharply, they will die in a month at most. No one has ever avoided such a fate. Our Linglong Palace master spent a lot of energy and asked many of his friends to help him temporarily seal this thing. However, it is only a temporary seal. To be honest, we have already planned to throw this thing away. It is a pity to throw it away. I did not expect that you, an idiot, would be willing to exchange it for young Master Xianfeng. Ha! I really don't know if those people who say you're smart have water in their brains." At this point, an extremely cold smile appeared on his face. "Just you wait. Soon the seal will break. Once it breaks, the demonic qi and baleful blood qi inside will completely erupt. At that time, you have to be careful. Don't become a devil who doesn't recognize anyone. Otherwise, we won't have to kill your friends and family. You can take care of them yourself." Ling Xiao didn't say anything. He just sneered and turned to leave. Seeing that Ling Xiao was so calm and collected, the 9 heavens do was puzzled. She didn't say anything and followed Ling Xiao into the 9 heavens palace. "Senior, is there a place in the 9 heavens palace that can conceal the aura of cultivation? I want to cultivate." Entering the 9 heavens palace, Ling Xiao asked the 9 heavens do impatiently. The 9 heavens do was confused. Ling Xiao smiled and explained, "That idiot Qin Yu. No, the entire Black Tortoise Temple is an idiot. Idiots who don't know what's good for them. Perhaps the Black Sky Demonic Ring is useless to others, but to me, it's completely different. I really didn't expect to get such a good thing before going to the skyscraper furnace. That Qin Yu really did a stupid thing for His Highness." "You mean you can refine the demonic qi in the Black Sky Demonic Ring?" The 9 heavens do asked in surprise. "That's right." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. A tyrannical force entered the Black Sky Demonic Ring. Suddenly, a terrifying demonic qi erupted from within, dyeing the entire 9 heavens palace black. It scared the 9 heavens do so much that she rushed out, not knowing what was going on. The demonic qi of an immemorial heavenly demon was terrifying. Moreover, there was more than one immemorial heavenly demon in the Black Sky Demonic Ring. Each immemorial heavenly demon had the power to move mountains and seas, destroy cities and countries. The strongest among them could easily tear apart the world and even destroy the mystic world. If the human king wasn't strong enough, the mystic world would have been completely destroyed 100,000 years ago. The Black Sky Demonic Ring was condensed from the demonic qi of many demonic clans who killed without batting an eye. After more than 100,000 years of accumulation and integration, it had already gained its own consciousness and produced a powerful life source. This life source could also be called the evil seed or devil fetus. Just from the name, one would know that ordinary warriors couldn't control it, let alone borrow its power to cultivate. But Ling Xiao was different. Ling Xiao had the tyrannical martial spirit, which could suppress all evils. In the past, the human king relied on the mountain and river martial spirit to suppress the demonic clans. Ling Xiao's tyrannical martial spirit originated from the mountain and river martial spirit, but it was more powerful than the mountain and river martial spirit. Even if he couldn't completely refine the demonic qi in the Black Sky Demonic Ring, he could definitely control it. After all, this was only demonic qi, and the devil fetus was only at the initial stage. It was different from the 7 heavenly demon kings sealed in Ling Xiao's forehead. Those 7 heavenly demon kings were real existences. Ling Xiao could even find the true essence of the shadow ultimacy from this Black Sky Demonic Ring, and raise the light shadow ultimacy to an even stronger level. Furthermore, it could strengthen his heavenly demon incarnation and heavenly demon purgatory. In short, there were many benefits. To him, this black sky demonic ring was a priceless treasure. After refining the demonic chi inside, the black sky demonic ring could be used as an immemorial, priceless treasure. It could also be used as a treasure, and the benefits would be endless. Of course, the demonic chi sealed in this black sky demonic ring was simply too powerful. If he was careless, the seal would break, and the demonic chi inside could escape. At that time, the White Tiger continent would definitely fall into a calamity. Even the nearby Dragon Phoenix continent and Black Tortoise continent wouldn't be spared. Of course, the first to bear the brunt of it would be the Nine Heavens Palace. Other than Ling Xiao, who would be turned into a devil, everyone else would die. Therefore, Qin Yu definitely harbored evil intentions for giving this item to Ling Xiao. But it was a pity that he didn't know that he had actually helped Ling Xiao greatly. With such a black sky demonic ring, why would he still need an essence, energy, thumb ring? These two items weren't even on the same level. To Ling Xiao, the black sky demonic ring was simply way too precious. Ling Xiao, why are you so happy? Seeing Ling Xiao in the Nine Heavens dream, Zhu Tian couldn't help but ask when he saw Ling Xiao laughing heartily. Of course I'm happy. Someone wants to harm me, but he ended up helping me greatly. All right, I don't think you guys will understand even if I explain. Palace Master, I need a quiet and safe place to refine this black sky demonic ring. Is there such a place in the Nine Heavens Palace? Ling Xiao knew that if he didn't let these people see for themselves, they wouldn't believe that this evil black sky demonic ring was a treasure. Of course there is. But are you sure you want to refine this black sky demonic ring? If you're careless, you'll die. Even if you don't die, you'll be turned into a devil. In the end, you won't even recognize your family and will kill your friends and family. Chapter 2029. Zhu Tianmeng also knew how terrifying the black sky demonic ring was, because it was recorded in every historical record. That was why she advised Ling Xiao not to take the risk to refine the black sky demonic ring. Don't worry, I will definitely succeed. As long as I refine the black sky demonic ring, not only will I obtain great benefits, everyone in Nine Heavens Palace will also benefit greatly. Ling Xiao smiled. I was originally worried about what to do if I met His Highness, but now it seems that I don't need to worry so much. The power of the black sky demonic ring is enough for me to reach the rebirth realm. All right, since you are so confident, then follow me. Nine Heavens Palace has a place specially prepared for the palace lord to cultivate, and it is protected by a formation. Zhu Tianmeng trusted Ling Xiao a lot. After all, Ling Xiao had done so many unimaginable things. It was unreasonable to doubt him. Ling Xiao had collected the boundless demonic intent, which meant that he could control the black sky demonic ring that had yet to be unsealed. Zhu Tianmeng was even more reassured. She led him to a secret place in Nine Heavens Palace. The formation here was actually personally set up by Nine Heavens' mysterious queen in the past, and its power was much stronger than Ling Xiao's formation. But because a long time had passed, there were some problems. Ling Xiao spent 2 hours to perfectly repair the formation. For a time, lightning flashed above the formation. This was the Lesser Myriad Thunder Formation. The Lesser Myriad Thunder Formation could directly absorb the lightning energy of the Myriad Thunder Immortal Slaying Formation and use it to destroy heart demons. This was also the reason why the palace lords of Nine Heavens Palace would not be trapped by heart demons when they cultivated. Ling Xiao stepped into the Lesser Myriad Thunder Formation and ordered everyone in Nine Heavens Palace to prepare to cultivate. This was a rare opportunity, and whoever could grasp it would definitely have their cultivation soar by leaps and bounds. No matter what happens inside, don't panic. If you must escape, I will notify you in advance. What you need to do is to cultivate steadily, otherwise I won't be able to fully absorb this energy. It would be a pity to waste it. Ling Xiao warned everyone, and then stepped into the lesser myriad thunder formation without hesitation. He sat down cross-legged, and the terrifying universe of Tyrant formed around him. The lesser myriad thunder formation could block his aura and everyone's sight. So even if he activated his martial spirit, he did not need to worry about his secret being leaked. The black sky ring floated in the universe of Tyrant was. Ling Xiao stared at it, then took a deep breath and said, "Dark Sky Lord Ring, I will now open your seal and see just how evil you are. Let's see if my martial spirit, can completely." The heavens demonic soul ring was soul immortal slaying ring immortal slaying ring. The seals. 4 Tian Meng ringed chi was chi demonic ring. Was a demonic demand demonic chi ring? What fell from the sky was the purest 9 heavens divine thunder that Ling Xiao borrowed from the myriad thunderbolts immortal slaying formation through the lesser myriad thunderbolts formation. How could a few trifling sealing marks possibly stand up to it? A moment later, the sealing marks were gone. The seal disappeared, and a terrifying aura of righteousness surged out from the dark sky Lord Ring. That righteous energy had been given to Ling Xiao by Empress Dazzling and her friends, but now it was becoming nourishment for him. His Imperial Heaven Queen of Earth cells began to awaken and transform. They became green and golden cells, filled with the power of heaven and earth. In that moment, Ling Xiao felt as if he had become the Imperial Heaven Queen of Earth. His feet touched the earth, and his head touched the heavens. In heaven and on earth, he was the only one. At the same time, his cultivation base was pushed all the way into the 9th stage of life seizing, 10th stage of life seizing, 11th stage of life seizing. He was at the peak of the 12th stage. That level of advancement was far more impressive than the vermilion bird jewel, and went to show how terrifying Empress Dazzling was. After all, Ling Xiao's cultivation base had only reached this level after the sealing marks had been destroyed. Furthermore, he now had 2,000 Imperial Heaven Queen of Earth cells, and they were still growing. All of a sudden, a terrifying shriek erupted from within the black sky ring. A devil embryo. Ling Xiao could sense that as soon as the sealing marks were removed, the devil embryo within the black sky ring erupted with power. It was as if it had been suppressed for far, far too long, and was now bursting with power that was terrifying to the extreme. Ling Xiao could see with his own eyes that there was a fetus inside the black sky ring. The fetus had almost grown into the shape of a human. It was almost human, and was madly absorbing the devil energy and darkness power within the ring. Although he had guessed that something like this would happen, it was still shocking to see the devil energy and darkness power within the black sky ring giving birth to a living devil embryo. Of course, in ancient times, it wasn't strange for powerful experts to be reborn from a single drop of blood. There were even some terrifying entities who could be reborn from nothing more than a single cell. Furthermore, the black sky ring had been stained with the blood of countless wretched devils, and perhaps even human immortals. After more than 100,000 years, being nurtured by the devil energy and darkness power, it was normal for the ring to grow into a devil embryo. The birth of the devil embryo, the heavens and earth were destroyed, and all living beings were plunged into misery and suffering. The entire mystic world turned pitch black as if it was the end of the world. This scene even alarmed the powerful existences in the immortal court. However, Ling Xiao was prepared for this. The lesser myriad thunder formation borrowed the power of the myriad thunder immortal slaying formation to prevent the devil embryo's aura from being released. Those signs only lasted for a moment before disappearing. Therefore, even if it caused a commotion among countless people, it was still safe for Ling Xiao. The moment the terrifying devil embryo came into contact with the air, it was enveloped by the endless darkness power, forming a terrifying demon god. The devil embryo was the core of this demon god. A terrifying shriek came from the demon god's mouth, as if it wanted to suck Ling Xiao's soul away. "Submit to me, puny human. Become my body and my slave. You will receive supreme glory." The devil embryo seemed to contain the fragmented memories of countless wretched devils, and was incredibly powerful. It even knew how to use devil will to subjugate a human. That terrifying devil will shot toward Ling Xiao. Since there was no way to get out of the lesser myriad thunder formation, it was only natural that Ling Xiao would be its next target. "You want me to submit?" Yang Qi said. "What a joke. In this universe of tyrants, you're my servant." Of course, Ling Xiao had been prepared for this. In the outside world, he definitely wouldn't be a match for this devil god. But here in the lesser myriad thunder formation, in the universe of tyrants, he had complete control. Although the devil embryo was in the 18th stage of life-seizing, it was nothing compared to him. And yet, Yang Qi was still able to crush it. It was similar to how he had used the power of the myriad thunder devastation ground to scare away the Imperial Highness. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.